Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for our familiest of Fridays.
Yeah.
Of course, we discuss everything going on with our Dallas Cowboys, the latest updates, and of course, what we can look forward to during our Monday night game against the Cardinals.
Week
and
9.
we have a special guest tonight. We'll have to see.
I have a special guest, Kyler Murray, not necessarily, but we do play the Cardinals there. And somebody in my family is a Cardinals fan. You guys know a certain someone that may show up here.
Bird's going to be stopping by.
So we might get a real insight from the behind enemy lines from MCF's own brother. So we'll see what happens here. So glad everybody can either watch this in the replay, leave your comments down below. As always, hit the like, subscribe, the notification bell so you know we're going live. We got those the video shorts that hot topic around here on the MCF street. So again, appreciate everybody who's joined us for all this thing for the years and years of being on YouTube, and for tonight, our latest update on our Dallas Cowboys, a little Friday night Fan Friday Cowboys chat style. So before we get it going and get into the news, info, and updates, let's talk about those that make the world go around here, like the man, John Luna. He's been rocking it since what, like 3/4 of a year.
That's right.
As our top sponsor, John Luna, a Houston Texans fan from Houston, representing the MCF star. So much love to Mr. John Luna. He is not just the sponsor of the month, but he is currently the leader of the month of October. And because of what he did on our airport stream, if you watched our game day stream, he's opened up a special goal tonight for, we said we promised we would do because we didn't have a really good signal there. So anyone who drops $5 or more gets in this raffle automatically because of Mr. John Luna.
That's right.
Last chance to get in it, by the way, for the month of October. So we'll see who's in it. All right, maybe we get 10, maybe we get 1, maybe we get 0. But either way, John Luna made it happen. So big shout outs to him and anybody else who's in it, because we have a long list of names that have entered because of him. One of them, Justin Quarles, from the last stream, our game day stream. He's got a couple of entries in there. So shout outs to everybody who's partaking in this thing. But hey, that's John Luna. You see him representing up there as our stream boss with that CD Lamb, 88 points. He's our sponsor of the month. He's also the leader so far right now this month. But the man who is the Cash App King, after dark kind of way, is Mr. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Shout outs to him. And shout outs to the man staying skeptical. Skeptical fan, our current membership champion. Shout out to, that's the current state of things. Of course, when you look at the Cash App side, even though Mr. Skeptical Fan is currently the champion of the membership gifting side of things, he is our current leader on the Cash App. He did drop 5 on it last night on an off night here. You know, we didn't have a stream. And he dropped on it. He said, fuck Everfluss. So we were with him on that. We agree. Trust me, we're going to talk a little about Everflush tonight here as well. The skeptical fan, he jumped over Teresa Stickle for that first place spot as the Cash App leader. And
Thank you so much, skeptical
tonight's
fan.
the last night for anyone to try to jump anybody. So, well, we'll see what happens. Anyone goes through, whether it's again, you see the different ways. The Cash App king is Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
$, My Cowboys Family.
So you have the Venmo, right? My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and then of course Streamlabs, which lets your comments show up on screen just like a super chat would.
And by the way, membership, there's a lot of ways of dropping the love here and donating to the channel, giving love. We try to give some love back for those that partake and go back and forth on discussions on our Cowboys. I do want to say that skeptical fan, in the membership, he is the membership gifting champion. But there's ways of dropping in here, whether it's a super chat, which is the way to get into this raffle. We'll show it in a minute here. Actually, I'll show it right now. Here's the raffle. Bam. Any team, any sport, any team, any style, any size. Holidays are right around the corner. So, hey, if you don't want one, somebody else wants one. It could be 5, 6 different sports we have. Pretty much every team, every style. And by the way, any name. You want your last name on the back? You want a player from 1937? You can do that. We'll get it for you sewn and stitched, but only for the winner of our monthly raffle. And to get into this, again, star level members, they get 1 raffle entries. Over everything level members get automatically 2 raffle entries. And then the quarterly, this is now, we're in the monthly winner now. So the monthly winner, which is John Luna, is going to be John Luna. He gets an extra raffle entry as well.
That's
but then
right.
He actually opened up the raffle for other people when we hit the goals to get into these raffles when he hits them in one fatal swoop. Anybody hits these goals like that, and anybody who drops 5, it's automatically entered instead of a pre-raffle. I don't think we have a pre-raffle this month. So literally everybody who knows that they hit the goal, we hit the goal, and it is on that list. You get yourself some of you guys have many raffle entries.
Yeah.
So we'll see who wins it. Probably for this upcoming Monday night game. If not the Monday night game, it'll be sometime during the bye week. So keep that in mind when we do the raffle. So because after the Cardinal game, it's the bye week. I do want to say one last thing. A lot of ways of dropping the love here. A lot of ways to get into this raffle, especially tonight at the end of the month. A special, not just a raffle to get in, but an entry to get into this raffle directly. So again, just to remind everybody, the different ways of dropping the love, whether it is a super chat, you can do it through there. You can do a thanks button. You can join the membership, which, by the way, shouting out a couple of people since last time we met that are in the membership, like John Sine and Roy Strasner, JD from DC, William Burney, and Sandy Adams new in the house. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the memberships. And by the way, the new emojis are in there because everybody who has a is in there's 4 different levels. Anybody's in any of the memberships can get those new emojis that we post once a week. We try to do those and update it to the there you go. Scorpio showing you what we got. Some dead birds, some dead red birds. That's what hopefully we'll see this weekend. Yeah, we dropped them early. I see a couple people dropping them as well. Shout outs for those, right? Scorpio showing everyone much love and appreciate you. Now, the gift thing, I think you can even gift memberships without being in the membership. Might be a new thing, but you can gift memberships. That's another way of getting on the board and helping fellow fans here. And of course, like I said, the Cash App side of things, which we kind of went over already. What was it? This way? Yeah, those 4 ways. So we did that already. And of course, we always shout out those special perks for some of these people, some people here that are in the membership, like the silver level shout outs, which are done on every Friday, game day, and every day we go live. It's the star level and over everything level gets the shout outs. No doubts on that. So shout outs to the silver level members here. Top Dog Bay Bullies, Dwayne Broussard in the silver level. Shout outs to the Q Man, Justin Quarles, one of our longest running members here. And then the longest running member of all time, 63 months, A. Lavelle, who earned himself an entry just for being the longest running member from Mr. John Luna. Shout outs to Mr. Lavelle there in the silver level. The star level, of course, Aussie. Much love to him. And of course, representing on the star on the other side of the earth, right? Jet Li 44. Worldwide. Yeah, universe. The aliens are wearing the star on the helmet. You just don't want to see the way we're doing. They're watching 30 years ago right now. Jet Li 44 is on the board there as a star level member for this month. And John Luna, of course, the man who represents pretty much the whole thing here. So shout outs to all you guys on all the levels, and and that navy blue crew too, of course. So, and we'll see how this thing goes when the raffle goes down. Whether it is for the game on Monday night, which I might not have time to get it all together, but at the very latest, it'll be sometime a couple of days after that during the bye week. So get ready. We're gonna get that October raffle going. But before we do that, will we have any new members? Anybody who drops $5 and hits that little goal, and if we go past 10, it's okay. We go 20, 30. Anybody who hits the goal today, anybody who drops 5 or more, and whether it's super chats, PayPal, whatever it is,
Yeah.
Cash App,
Any
drop of $5 or more, you're in this thing. So let's see how many people we add to this raffle. Let's go. Now, baby, why don't you shout out the people that are in the house tonight?
Of course.
Let's get this thing going.
We have Team Money in the house. Hello and hi. And yes, we are going to talk about absolutely everything, including, that little baby heart attack we all had with Overshown. The second
injury.
he started coming back, right? Scorpio, what's up? Hello and hi. Much love. He said Brendan Aubrey was an alien for Halloween. He fixed the football out of this world.
That's true. And there were some trade rumors with him, too. I see Team Money talking about that. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Jared thinks about trading him.
trade rumors, but,
Strangle him in his sleep.
yeah, I mean,
Allegedly.
There are trade rumors, but I wouldn't fall for those too much right now. I'll just kind of knock those right. I don't really have that information. That's more, people's thoughts, people's guesses. Yeah.
Outside of that, let me see. We have Texas Twister in the house. Hello and hi. Much love. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Happy Halloween to you. And yes, guys.
Yes, that's right.
To everybody here tonight.
We're talking football. It's actually on our side. It's already past. It's the first of the month. It's November, but it's Dia de Muertos, right? But yes, happy Halloween to everybody. Hope everyone had a nice, safe, fun Halloween. With if you have kids or have kids knocking your door. In our neighborhood, it was like 4 kids came knocking the whole night. So
yeah, it was not as exciting as we thought it would be there, which is kind of sad. But at least those kids got a nice big handful from the MCF house.
More candy.
So James Payne, what's up? Hello and hi. And no, like we said, enjoying a quiet type of Halloween here. Very different from the days of trick-or-treating with the little ones. So, you see, kind of come back down here. Thank you so much for hitting the like button, guys. And yeah, we say it just because sometimes, we forget, right? So yes, hop in, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. The Discord link for that's in the description box down below. And of course, like I said, we're going to touch on, a few post-game things and, practice things and of course, injury things, unfortunately. And a few fun things. I don't know if you noticed in the thumbnail, but a few Dallas Cowboy players also felt the Halloween spirit and decided to dress up, which was very, very fun because the second I saw it, I was cracking up. So, love the creativity. Hopefully that translates to, I don't know, wins on the field.
Some kind of win, question mark? I don't know.
I know costumes have absolutely nothing to do with it. Just, I guess I'm just trying to find my joy here in the Cowboy season where I can, considering that, kind of like T-Money said, he's like, what do we have to do to, do you think, how do we get Everflex to play man defense? And I'm like, I know, by chaining him down. So, we'll have to see. With that said, baby, of course, I know we have a few things to touch on, so I guess I'll hand things off to you so that you can kind of...
Yeah, so listen, I'm not going to go too much about the Bronco game. It was
Jasper Rocks, hello and hi,
Jasper in the house. Look, 2 of his favorite teams are going to be playing this week. The Cardinals and the Cowboys. Don't worry, in a couple weeks you get your other team there, the Eagles, against your other team, the Cowboys. So, first and foremost, I'm not going to talk much about the Bronco game. It was a fucking ugly 20-point loss. Even towards the end of the game, we brought in Joe Milton. He threw a touchdown and all great, but it was garbage time, literally. Now, there's also a point where in the game where I think was the main turning point. I'll say it real quick. I'm going to give myself credit because we cannot stop anyone on defense. Can we all kind of agree on this? I don't care if we get Kalen Carson or this guy back or Butler back, or I don't give a fuck on defense who we get back.
Got my grandma on defense.
That's my point. Is that when it's 4th and 3 and you're down 14-10 and you got to make a decision, do you go for it or not? You know what I'm saying? You go for it when you're at midfield. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. And I know half the chat and you are and half of this side of the microphone. I know you had said, no, punt it away. You don't go for it. I'm like, you go for this. You're on your own 45, but
I remember I ended up agreeing with you later on because I
afterwards,
was like, okay, it didn't take too long into the game to realize, like, you know what, Mr. MCF had a point. We should have gone for it there.
And the point is because we can't stop a goddamn thing. So why are we going to punt the ball so they can drive down the field and score on us? So that's exactly what they did. It took a 2-score lead. And honestly, at that point, they never really looked back. It was always we got a little closer in the third, but we had to stop them again. We finally had to stop. We got the ball back. You can take the lead here, and then we punt the ball. You know what I'm saying? I know we're still 65 yards away, but our offense is pretty good too. If we just, the game would have been a little different if we had made that first down. Other points of that game where Dak should have slid. He should have got the first down rather than slide a yard short. And then we ran and lost a yard. And then we had an incompletion. And then we had to punt. So it all ended up, biting us in the ass because of, I believe, a lot of bad play calling. I believe, again, 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1. How did we not get a first down? And, one play to stop us, fine, but not 2 in a row. So, and again, why can't Dak die for that first down? They'll just slide short of the marker, hoping or thinking we're going to get it against a good Broncos run defense. So there's a lot of little things that really in the first half we gave the game. We kind of gave the control away, and then they had no problem keeping that control. It was just too much for us to catch up. That's my kind of
you're not wrong. I don't think your assessment is too far off.
One of the bigger issues that I want to bring up in this game, which is something that that air out there in Denver. I don't know what it is. We just can't beat them since '95. We suck against them, and especially when it's in Denver. I don't know what's wrong with our team, but
I don't know. Maybe it is the low altitude in Dallas. That's
what I was thinking.
The high altitude, we lose the oxygen.
There's a bigger issue though. We're losing oxygen every game because penalties, especially I'm talking about pre-snap penalties.
True.
Before the play even started, we're sloppy in this ugly blowout loss against the Broncos. Schottenheimer said this, quote, "At the end of the day, it can't happen again, and we have to fix it. We're the 2nd most penalized team in the league, if not the 1st, and that's unacceptable." So he thinks we may even be the 1st penalty. I'm not even sure where our numbers are. It doesn't matter. I'll let you know where we rank, but my point here is this thing. Remember we said McCarthy? Oh, it must be McCarthy.
Yeah.
So no, it's this team. It's the players. There's something deeper in this issue. So
we keep hearing that it's the organization, and we keep saying it's
hard
the
to
organization,
beat that when
and it's hard to beat those allegations when it doesn't matter who's the coach or who's the players. The same shit keeps happening regardless.
Does it? I have some proof of something here because, again, since 2015, let's go back a decade, 11 years now, but a decade, we were averaging 7 penalties per game under Garrett in 2015. Now, I want Garrett gone. I don't care if we average 0 penalties against, with him. I did not like Garrett as our coach, but my point is, in those years, 2015, we were 13th ranked in penalties, 7 penalties a game.
Okay.
In 2016, 6.6, we were 16th ranked. In 2017, 6 penalties a game. That was 24th ranked in penalties per game. In 2018, 6.5 penalties per game. That was 21st in the league. So, again, you can see 24th meaning that we weren't penalized that much. 21st, we're not. We were 13th and 16th in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And then we became kind of a less penalized team towards 2017, 2018. Then 2019, we got 17th most with 6.8 penalties per game. 2020 is McCarthy. 6 penalties per game. We were 11th in the league. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah,
that was COVID year, and that was half our team missing. Dak broke his leg. That was horrible. Now, 2021, 7.5. That right there hits the highest since I started this list.
Yeah.
7.5 penalties per game. That was number 1 in the NFL.
Ooh.
Number 1.
Ouch.
That was the most, but we were the most penalized team. In 2022, 6.1 penalties. That was 10th in the NFL. So we haven't had a top 10 since I've been saying this, by the way. That's a top 10 already. That's 2 with that's 2 in a row right there.
For McCarthy.
Top 10. Well, McCarthy had the 11th highest, in his rookie year there for us with 6th, which is still high, 11th. But my point is, now you go to 2023, 6.8 penalties per game. 3rd worst in the NFL.
I was going to say, that's still pretty high.
3rd worst. Every year it depends, because sometimes you throw more penalties than other years. In 2024, last year, 7.5 penalties per game.
Fuck.
We're going back to 2021 numbers, and that put us 4th in the NFL. We were
Ooh.
first that other year. This past year we were 4th highest penalized team. This year, Sean Ivers said we were 2nd, maybe 1st. We're averaging 8.4 penalties.
What the fuck?
8.4 penalties per game. That is 2nd. That's not even the worst. That's 2nd worst in the NFL.
I flabbergasted. I don't even know what to say to that. First of all, I feel like the fact that this many penalties is still only 2nd, and how quickly those stats change does lend a little bit of credence to the flag happiness of the NFL. Too many penalties.
I agree.
Shut the fuck up and just let them play. But secondly, like you said, even outside of that, it still speaks to a fundamental core problem here. We have always been, a little flirty with penalties. It seems we wanted to get into a committed relationship with them, with McCarthy, and it seems like we're ready to put a ring on it here with Schottenheimer. What the
calm down. Let's all calm down.
It's not that. It's just it's wild to see that in just that short amount of time, like averaging 2 extra penalties a game.
Yeah.
In basically, 2-3 years. That's crazy.
Yeah. Again, penalties are killer.
And the fact that you pointed out that so many of them are those like pre-snap penalties, like I feel like that speaks to core coaching fundamental problem.
I should have. I did say at the beginning.
Yeah.
These were only pre-snap penalties.
Oh.
Not overall. I'm sorry. So.
Oh my God! So that's not even.
That's my point. We're killing drives before we even start to play. That's how bad it's getting. So,
geez, way to make a depressing stat even more depressing.
Yeah. Well, I did say it in the beginning, but I should have made it more of a point. I'm saying that is specifically this kind.
Yeah. And real quick, Seabass said, I agree. Shut the fuck up and just let players play.
Yeah,
Scorpio said, Tyler Smith has been a solid dude as a beast, and I see him getting better. Yeah, again, he tends to have like one or two like randomly bad games, and then that's it. You know what I mean? But it just kind of sucks because it feels like all the other guys are also taking turns having like more like 2 or 3 bad games, and then rinse and repeat. So, anyway, back to you, babe.
I was going to say that's the penalty function of the game there. But I do want to kind of. I'm not even gonna go stats. I'm not one of these content creators gonna blow smoke up your ass about this and that. I'll give you the truth. Something's gonna be a little bit of good, but it's usually bad when you get blown out. And so George Pickens. A little good right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy made some great catches. A toe-tapping first down on a 4th down play. Another first down moving the chains play with his just straight-up ability. I mean, the guy is fantastic. Now, the trade deadline is around the corner. I'm going to touch on the fact that someone said, Brandon Aubrey's name has been named in trades by the Cowboys to other teams, which would break your heart, baby. It would break. I mean, can you imagine even repping that jersey? He goes to a new team, and then he kicks a 70-yard field goal with them.
I would have to wear a paper bag over my head for the rest of the season.
You'll be the Aints. Listen, but then trade deadline. There's also a name that people are bringing up, and I don't think you even know this. That they said they want to trade. There may be a trade possibility, and his name is George Pickens.
That is kind of crazy.
So with a week again, Tuesday is the end of the trading deadline. That's it. After Tuesday, no more trades. Expect something to happen, but probably a small 6th or 7th round pick for us, like a future draft pick for a guy who's probably expiring his contract. And
some of the things I'm hearing there seems a little too extravagant for the Dallas Cowboys.
We're not going to go for anything big. But George Pickens, guys, they're saying, could they trade him? Because right now, there's that opportunity, I guess you can say. And I don't know how you feel about this, but there's an opportunity to trade him if you're not going to re-sign him. If Jerry Jones already knows,
disagree.
If Jerry Jones already knows he's not going to re-sign George Pickens, you get a 3rd round pick. No matter what, you get a late 3rd round pick on a compensatory pick if he goes to another team next year. All right, so let's just say that's the baseline right there. If you trade George Pickens for a 4th round pick, fire that person who made that deal, because you can let him go in free agency and get a 3rd round pick. Yeah, end of the 3rd round. 3rd round pick still. It's before the 4th round pick. So no matter what, if you're trading, if someone wants George Pickens, you're going to have to give up at least a high third rounder or probably more like a second round pick. Of course, remember, they got to pay him a shitload of money. Do you know what the numbers are for George Pickens?
What are they?
To sign him for next year, $28 million per year.
Damn. I in my head I was gonna say, I'm like, is it like 26, 26 and a half?
$28 million per year, and again, we just got a CD for 35.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna start having receiving cores that are worth as much as quarterbacks? I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe that's what we need to have. Obviously, we're dominant with both guys and Dak. We need that offensive line that's building. So
the problem is accepting that this is the type of defense we can expect every year. Unless, the rookies all happen to all hit at the same time.
Yeah, that's not happening. Offensive lineman, though.
So you guys let me know how you feel about that.
Offensive lineman definitely hitting a little better. So as far as the offense is concerned, would you invest in that or not? You know what I'm saying? I know we had a little blip there, looks like, on the I said that I disconnected, but I think we're good. I think we're still good. Anyways, George Pickens has been first, kind of entered it. Perfect. Entered with that Brandon Aubrey discussion about, hey, maybe he's going to be traded, but also the fact that he doesn't have a contract extension talked about or done yet led people to believe maybe this is going to be a trade situation. Now, here's the deal. Jerry Jones spoke about this, and I know the wife got the quotes here, but basically within the last couple of days of this NFL trade deadline here, the Cowboys have not engaged in any contract extension talks with George Pickens. That is the word as of this moment. So not with George Pickens, not with his representatives. Pickens right now is on an expiring contract, as we all know. He's going to be a free agent next year after this year is over. Franchise player designation. That is an option, though. You could be a franchise player, and then that would automatically put him at $28 million. That's why that would be the cheapest you get him at. Is 20. You said 26, 28 is the baseline, because other teams will pay 30, 31.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're looking at right now with the situation. It's all entangled. So Jerry Jones 105.3 The Fan, and he said basically all options are still there regarding improving the roster for this trade deadline.
But then he went on to add, saying, quote, "I can tell you this right now. There is not a trade in my mind, the beginning and end of one, as we sit here and talk, that I would do." So he's basically straight up just saying that there's nobody out there that's worth trading for, that I would trade for. And worth trading for is an interesting way of putting it, because what's worth it to Jerry? Usually saving money. So you work that out.
Well, they asked him about trading for a linebacker.
He said, not necessarily, not at all, but possibly so. Now, how about that for an answer?
Another Jerry Jones schmucko answer there. Perfect quote from him.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, on this same trading situation, they asked Dak Prescott what his thoughts about improving this team. Maybe a trade would jumpstart this team. What did he say to that?
He said, "I trust and like the guys that we have. I honestly do, and that's not just a political answer.
Mm-hmm.
Our roster is okay. Can it be better? That's for you guys to write about and to judge, but I trust those guys."
Well, okay. Well, let's trust those guys. Let's just hear back from one of those guys. His name is Jerry Jones, and he said on the Cowboys pass rushing group, in terms of, this is what he said, quote, in terms of numbers. I'm sorry. He says, in terms of numbers and in terms of players that can rush the passer, we got the best numbers that we've had. Is this true? He's saying we have the best numbers as far as the rushers that we've had. Let's go back just think about this for a second. Go back 3 years ago.
Okay.
2023. Micah had 43 pressures and 7.5 sacks at this point. Last year, it was Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Micah Parsons had 21 pressures, and 3 sacks from DeMarcus Lawrence was the leader at this point. But you go back to this, now you go this season now. Listen to the numbers. Dante Fowler, 26 pressures. That's 5 more pressures than Micah had last year. So technically, Jerry Jones is right. We actually have more pressures by our top guys. I mean, Fowler has 26. Kenny Clark has 23. Escorazo has 22. And then Osa and Sam Williams have 18 apiece. Last year, we had Micah with 21, Osa at 15, and then 9 9, and 8. So those numbers are important to note that the we actually have better pass rushing pressures. Let's say sacks.
Yeah.
Last year we had 3 by Lawrence, 2.5 by Carl Lawson. Golston had 2. Kendricks had 2. Overshown had 2. This year, still about the same. We had 3.5 by Houston, 1.5 by Kenny Clark, 1 by Clowney, 1 by Escarrasso, 1 by Fowler. Now again, a little less there, but we have more pressures, a little less sacks, a little more pressures.
A few less wins.
Oh yeah, of course.
Throwing that out there.
And then if you go back 2 years, to me the sacks and pressures were abundantly a lot more because of Micah Parsons specifically. But last year it seemed like Micah kind of stopped it a little bit there. Not stopped, but he was kind of slowed down a little bit there for Micah Parsons when it came to last season. And this year, the Cowboys parted ways. Obviously, Mike is a main piece of your defense playing better. But when I look at interceptions, this under Quinn defense is 2 years ago. See, that's the bigger difference to me. Is more than the players than it was the defensive scheme. Last year we had Zimmer's scheme. This year, of course, is Everfluss. And then 2 years ago we had Quinn. So you can see we had 4 picks with Bland, 2 with Gilmore, 1 with Diggs, 1 with Hooker, 1 with Kearse. And this year we only have 2 with Wilson, 1 with Deron Bland, and 1 with Paquise Bridges. So again, and last year we only had 4 total, the same as now. So interceptions were the same as last year as they were this year, even with Micah.
Yeah.
It's the scheme more than it was the player in that way, in my mind. And I think that's what Jerry Jones is trying to say about getting guys like pass rushers or stuff in a trade or something like this. So when you look at the trades that are out there and you look at the odds, Jerry Jones was asked about the trade with Max. What about trading for Max Crosby? What about trading for Trey Hendrickson?
That is
right.
Mm-hmm.
So Jerry Jones said, "quote There hasn't been anything close to a deal. We're looking at all the phases of our roster, and I don't know if we will or will not make a trade." So again, I just explained to you his answer about getting a pass rusher, and he told you basically we have the best numbers as far as stats and players when you put it together in that kind of team way.
Yeah.
And it's kind of accurate, a little bit accurate, I'd say. But it's not that. To me, it's Everfluss, not Micah Parsons fluss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to me that's the bigger issue there. So Max Crosby is the big name that we said Crosby or Hendricks. Crosby is the one who's been connected with the Cowboys, but thankfully those fucking rumors are squashed for the most part. But you never know right? So the odds right now for Max Crosby's next team, Dallas Cowboys, 2-1 odds.
Nah.
The 3-1 odds with the Patriots, 4-1 odds with the Niners, 5-1 odds with the Lions, 7-1 with the Seahawks, Commanders 8-1, and on and on. Max Crosby on another site, another betting site, odds site, said the Cowboys are 250-1 odds, and then the next team is the Patriots, 300-1 odds. The Niners 400-1, Detroit Lions 500-1, Seattle 700-1, Baltimore 800. I'm just saying. My point is the Cowboys lead the pack when it comes to Max Crosby. So Jerry Jones saying we don't need any other any veteran pass rushing leaders. I don't know if I agree with him on that, but I understand the numbers look better. But doesn't mean that that's necessarily going to be the final answer. Because remember, we were pretty good the first couple of weeks and no penalties. Now we're the second most penalized team. We had a couple of things that looked good here and there, and then all of a sudden it doesn't look as good when you look at the whole span of the season. So we have to see how that goes. And listen to this: as a veteran pass rusher, let's say, or just a veteran we pick up in a trade of some sort. What do you think about this?
Okay.
When you look at the snaps that are actually been played on the field this year, through week 8, do you know what the oldest teams are? The 5 oldest teams in the NFL are?
What are
the
they?
Commanders, the Steelers, the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Rams.
Okay.
The 5 youngest teams that had the people out there with actual snaps: the Packers, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. So we've had a lot of young guys taking snaps this year. A lot of them. Our guys,
which again plays right into what we thought about this team, that it was very young and inexperienced,
especially with the injuries too,
and even the coaching too.
Yeah, but with the injuries, then you're getting younger and younger in some ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at our age on offense, 26.2 years. That's 28th.
Ouch.
Yeah, and then you're looking at our defensive age. We're at 26.7. It's almost the same. That's 21st oldest. Total for the Cowboys, 26.4. We're ranked 29th oldest team I'm sorry, youngest team in the NFL. I say youngest. So yeah, we're 21 as far as being, so we're pretty young on offense. We're actually younger. We're the same on offense and defense. 26 years plus is our average age on offense, average age on defense, and that's in the 20s when it comes to elderly. So that means we're pretty young on those sides. And overall, like I said, we are ranked uh, 29th youngest team, I guess you could say, if that makes sense, or 29th oldest team, which would put us shit fourth youngest team in the NFL, basically. So we're one of the younger teams in the NFL. Does that mean we need to get a veteran in a trade of some sort to help this team push it through? We're 3-4-1 right now. What are the chances you guys think we have to actually do something out there? Well, I don't know what you guys think out there. I know the wife is gonna letting you guys know some info. I see Kenneth Murray out there, some comments out there, but I do want to make a mention. The mention that really pissed off a lot of people, fans and players alike, which is the Jerry Jones comment that was said today, I think, on WSJ on 105.3 The Fan.
Yeah.
And that was when he was asked about the recent quote he gave. Well, he's asked about the recent quote he gave, basically regarding it was the Wall Street Journal, and it was basically about money making. So, baby, why don't you drop the exact quote, if you could, for me?
Yeah, so Jerry Jones was asked, like Mr. MCF said, and he said, quote, "There's 100 billion present value with natural gas out there. That's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys."
Oh, man. So, again, right there,
And then
it
Jerry
sounds like
kind of
he's
straight
trying
up
to make
admitted,
money.
well, and Jerry straight up admitted, he's like, he's like, anything that I do that makes money ultimately ends up helping the Cowboys. Saying, quote, "Sitting here talking on this phone with you, the visits I'm having with my fans through this, interview, that'll help score touchdowns." Because in his mind, if he makes more money, then he, has more money to spend on the Cowboys?
On the team, on the experience, but it's all for
Because
his
it's,
pocket.
personally owned by them or whatever, but let's be real. That is some grade A level bullshit.
Now, right after that, Steven, I'm sorry, Schottenheimer was asked about those quotes. Basically, what when he was on 105.3 The Fan, what did he think about these Wall Street Journal quotes by Jerry Jones?
Oh, poor Shotty.
What Shotty had to say? He took a shotty on this one.
Yeah, well, he did say that he understands why fans would be bothered by those quotes, but that, his time with Jerry has been pretty similar to time spent with other GMs and other team owners, saying, quote, "We sit down every Monday for about an hour to an hour, or an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then every Friday for about 45 minutes to an hour. Myself, the coordinators, Jerry, Steven, Jerry Jr., and we have such lengthy conversations. Jerry, Steven, and I talk almost every day by phone as well. At the end of the day, I can promise you one thing. No one wants to win more than Jerry Jones, and it's our job to go out there and do that, and that's what we're focused on."
And great political answer, but I think for a young guy, for a young coach, I guess his dad is coach, so he knows how to answer this stuff. But great answer, but he didn't really answer.
Yeah.
He said just look, they do their work, and the Joneses, they do their work. That's basically what he's talking about. And in the end, I said funny, not funny, like kind of like what Fernando G said. I mean, that's the kind of comment, like, you just don't say that, even if it's the truth. You don't say that out loud. And the Cowboy fans are like, you really don't like it doesn't matter how much money you make, you can't overspend on the cap. You just can't spend more on you can make $2 billion today, and that won't make a difference when it comes to the fact that you go and spend $250 million
Exactly.
on the cap. So that's great, you're making money, but you can't give it to the players. What are you going to do? Under the table shit? So again, just another dumb Jerry Jones quote right there. And I don't really want to waste my time with it. If anybody else has a comment about it, I mean, definitely let me know. But maybe if you do, but if not, we're going to keep rolling because I can't stand.
Yeah, no, and again, Rhonda, thanks for hanging here.
Rhonda in the house, yes.
Team Money said Jerry wants to and is ruining us.
Yeah, he doesn't even I don't think he really realizes it, in my opinion.
So, and it does suck too because, Team Money also made a comment about it, like if the Eagles get Myles Garrett, and it's more, I think, about the fact that the potential is even there. That our division rivals are out here making better, more aggressive moves, even if they don't end up working out. It's like we don't even get the chance to have moves not work out. Like most of our moves end up sucking from the jump. Anyway, that's it. Just want to throw that out there. You know, like you remember how excited you were when you heard that Pickens was finally headed to Dallas after you had been talking about him previously before that?
Javonte Williams was the guy I was talking about.
Was it?
Yes. Javonte Williams was the running back I talked about in the past. Pickens was I just wasn't sure about the deal, but I did say that once I knew that, if he has a good year, you get a third round comp back for him. That would be, I'm saying I'd have no problem. And now we're to a point where do we keep him or not for this team, or do we, or do we, let him go for that third round comp pick easily? But we know for a trade, it'd be a second rounder or something like this now. And I don't know if anybody wants to pay that plus $28 million plus.
Do you think that if Jerry does, like, let's say there's a hypothetical scenario where he does end up trading away Pickens, do you think that he can still somehow spin the fact that this isn't somehow basically a throwaway year for him? Because how do you do that when you just traded for him and then you trade him away again?
You mean Pickens?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that throwaway year. How
can you say that you're still going to be competitive this year when you trade away the weapon that you just traded for?
Right. Well, but we know he's a 1 year guy. So now he's just a half-year guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in a way, that's what you look at it. If you're going to lose him and get a third-round pick, end of the third round, what if you get an end of the second-round pick? How would you feel about getting an end of the second-round pick or getting a way at the end of the third-round pick? You're going to lose him anyways. So he's not traded yet. I don't think he's going to be traded, but there is no contract talks, which means that he's going to be gone. So, anyways, let me keep it going because we do have a special guest coming on here momentarily. But we got to get through some of this information first. So now we finish this game. There were some comments that were made outside of the Jerry Jones bullshit, which involved Tony Romo.
That's right.
Yeah, Tony Romo. And how is this season going to play out for the Cowboys?
What did Tony said?
Yeah, he used to be the quarterback there before Dak took it.
They're going to hover around 500, and it's going to come down to a game or two for them to get into the playoffs because the offense is good enough to win half the game. So, sounds like deja vu for Tony Romo.
Yeah.
So,
we're 3 games in. I mean, we're 3 wins and a half, I guess, out of 8. You know what I mean? So he's almost basically just hovering around that 500.
And I know we hear playoffs, right? But hey, Schottenheimer still thinks that the Cowboys are a good team. He said, quote, "I see us every day. I see what we're capable of. We're not very consistent. I think we're a talented football team."
I want to say one quick quote about this. If you're not consistent, you're not talented. Even if you have talent. I understand what he says.
That you're not good.
Yeah.
Like, you can be very talented.
You can be talented, but you're not good when you're not consistent. So
Stephen Jones also somehow threw in there that he absolutely believes the Cowboys can be a playoff team, saying, quote, "We're going to continue to grind. If we can get some stops, I think our offense will play well."
Well, we know our offense will play well. The defense sucks dick, so
yeah. It's so sad. Like, we're begging for scraps here.
Yeah.
And the only good thing that Eberflus did last week was let Ezraku lead the edges and snaps. So just throwing that out there, that hopefully that happens pretty much every single time moving forward. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Again, Eberflus. I'm trying to be positive for you guys. I found that little tidbit there that Eberflus used Ezraku, number 41, the rookie, and you can see he has a lot of pressures this year. I think he's third on the team in pressures. So that's one thing he did good, but he's still going zone. He's still doing too much zone. And then, we heard Stephen Jones speak about being a defensive coordinator, not just for the rest of this season, but for next year, too. What did Stephen Jones say about Eberflus?
Stephen Jones said that, quote, "We hope the situation is going to continue to evolve. I know it will. Coach Eberflus has been a high-end coach. I know right now he's not satisfied with where we are. We all have to be better as a team. All our players, all our coaches, all our executives, ownership. Everybody needs to look in the mirror and see where they can be better."
Trash.
So
he's bullshit.
So is that his way of saying, like, oh, we'll keep him around and maybe give him a defensive player or two? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, are they going to keep Eberflus around and basically just, like, get him, like...
What that means is that Stephen Jones is saying, we're not going to fire him now. We're going to fire him at the end of the year.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. His contract expires. Bye.
I mean, I was kind of hoping that was it, but
I mean, no, but I mean, the fact that
I found that
it's
wording
to me, it's the games. It's the games that they play. It's that front office. It's Stephen Jones. It's his dumb fucking ass.
Dumb.
It's Jerry
You're gonna fire him
Jones.
at
His
the end
dumb
of the
fucking
year.
ass.
Why are you going to pay him to suck for you?
No, it's
for whatever time is left.
Baby, you have to pay him probably that the whole. You probably got to pay. Contract ain't the problem. The problem is it's a fucking clown show, and Jerry and Steven are the fucking ringleaders of this Barnum and Bailey shit circus. So listen, as we move it on to the practice week, all right, away from those front office execs into the players, there was a lot of wind. So the Cowboys actually, I think they practiced one day indoors, one day outside.
Okay.
Two of the guys I want to bring up right now, and I'm going to put one of them up, and he's wearing number 0 now, is DeMarvion Overshown. Guys, Overshown and cornerback. Overshown's a linebacker, both torn ACL on both knees, but he was on the field with number 34, Siobhan Ravel Jr., rookie. I think, was he a third rounder? Fourth rounder? Anyways, I think they're third rounder. Both of them began their second ramp-up week.
Yeah.
They're in the 21-day window. So they're on their second week now. The last week they were in practice.
So exciting.
Now they're back. There's another week under the belt. We know it's going to probably go the 3 full weeks, and that fourth week, at the end of that fourth week, it's really the end of the fourth week, then you can put them on there. So they'll probably wait at least for Overshown on that. But they both began their second week of practice this week and finishing it. Remember, practice started a little later this week. It's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Tomorrow's it's a walkthrough practice probably, but it's still a practice day. But both are ramping up to get in shape and participated in position drills. So Overshown's with linebackers, Ravel is with the cornerbacks. But then all of a sudden, DeMarvion Overshown got hurt. He was limited on the official injury report today because of some kind of injury. He had to walk off the field. So, okay, is it a knee? What's going on? He says he's wearing a big brace on his leg. He did not suffer any kind of setback, though. He left, and then he returned to practice a little later. Now, it was a thumb issue.
Okay.
Just so everyone knows. So we know what it is. In his hand, not his knees. Thumb issue. Again, the fact that he was clearly back on the field in front of the reporters is a great sign, and the fact that he went back into practice is not a problem.
Still, like I said, mini heart attack there.
Mini heart attack. Stephen Jones said on 105.3 The Fan that Overshown with that knee, issue, he dislocated the top part of his thumb in practice.
Oh,
that's what happened. He dislocated it. That's a little hyperextension sometimes, but he's not ready to play yet, guys. If he was going to play this week, he probably missed the game. If it was about his thumb, but he already needs another couple of weeks anyway, so it's not a really big loss. It's not
worries you considering he's still recovering from an injury.
I know. It's like it feels like Sean Lee time with him. If it happens like this, it's going to keep happening. Then he's Sean Lee. He's Mr. Glass. But it's kind of like Trayvon Diggs getting called Mr. Glass right now. But I'll tell you about a Trayvon spotting we had. Again, this thumb dislocation is not serious. Overshown was able to return to practice. And if he's returned to practice, I mean, unless they're not doing hand drills, like catching the ball drills, he could run around, still participate in stuff. And again, according to all sources, he remains on track to return after the bye week. So not just against the Eagles, and not just against the Chiefs, which was the expected day on Thanksgiving, the Raider game, which is Monday night. Not the Cardinals. The Cardinals Monday night. We have a bye week, then we have another Monday night game, which is the Raiders. So he may be back for that game.
A little bit early.
Feels very
But at
rushed.
the same time, Stephen Jones has been crowing, saying he'll be back before Thanksgiving. Yeah. So this would be his chance to be right.
Yeah, this is what Stephen Jones. This is what they do: rush guys back, and then all of a sudden they get hurt, and they go, Why did he get hurt for?" And then Stephen Jones also said the same expectation is for the rookie, Siobhan Ravel Jr. with that knee issue, that he will be available for that after the bye week for the Raiders game. So both guys are, just so you guys know already, I know we're not going to be live tomorrow, but Overshown is going to be ruled out for this game. He's not coming back, even though he's in that window for practicing. And Siobhan Ravel Jr., number 34, rookie, also out, will not be playing in this game. Then we'll have a bye week, and then both guys can return, and probably will return against the Raiders. The Raiders. next week. So what happens? What's the good news this week when it comes to injuries? And I'll give you a little bit of it. Because again, we have 2 out of 3 days. We don't have tomorrow. We can't tell the future. Usually they do a walkthrough of some sort. But as far as we know, this is the second injury report is the most we have right now. And great news, Cooper Beebe. Another 2 days of full practices for him, for our starting center. So
that is some very happy news, all things considered, especially after that stat about the penalties.
Yeah, so even though he is full practice, he's still in the 21-day window. Now, if he comes back, we'll have the entire starting offensive line out there. And that would be major. So, and again, so you have the receivers, you have your tight end, you got your running backs, and you got, of course, Dak Prescott. Now you have your offensive line. You've got a full-fledged offense right there, right now. So that's a major deal there. Oh, give me a second, baby. You got to hit. I need to plug something in. So I want to lose this here, I think.
Okay. Do you want me to plug it in?
No, I got it. Okay. Actually. We're still good here. Just I don't want to lose it. But I will need to do that before we get Dr. G to call in. So, but I do want to finish this here real quick, and then you can get some comments in the chat.
Of course.
So, anyways, the point is that Cooper Beebe, full practice so far this week, and right now, according to Stephen Jones, barring any setbacks, if there's a setback tomorrow or before the game on Sunday, all expectations are that Cooper Beebe is going to play Monday night against the Cardinals. We'll have our full starting offensive line finally back. And according to Stephen Jones, he was very close to being back against Denver. A few days ago.
Okay.
So I discussed a lot. It was good he wasn't. Now that's the Cooper Beebe situation. You want to say what happened with Cooper Beebe? He did dress up as Nacho Libre today for Halloween. So he came in the locker room like that. If you go to those video shorts, you'll see it right here on my Cowboys family. You'll see it on the shorts there for the video. So then another interesting situation was Brian Anger on the injury report, baby. That's the only change from Wednesday to Thursday. Anger was absent on today's practice due to illness.
Oh, no.
So basically just the extra day that we have, of moving all the practices day forward, actually is going to help give him an extra day to basically rest up for this game on Monday night against the Cardinals. So that's a good sign there for him. When I look at the rest of the things here, guys, Cooper Beebe, full practice. Kenny Clark, full practice with the elbow. Marshawn Nealon, full practice with an ankle. And Reddy Stewart, full practice with the thigh. So those guys look, unless any setbacks, including Cooper Beebe, they should all be playing this week. Then we have a bunch of guys that are definitely going to be out, I believe. Not going to Anger, like I said, Anger, he's just getting an extra day to rest here from being sick. But Elijah Clark was injured pretty bad in his ribs. He's missed both practice days. Jack Sanborn with the groin injury, linebacker, missed both practices so far this week. Doesn't look good for him. And Donovan Wilson, who I really wish we get back, and we'd have no safeties back. They were down to our 4th and 5th safeties. Actually, now our 4th and 6th safety. Actually, Donovan Wilson also did not practice with both those injuries there, the elbow and the shoulder. So
it does feel like we just can't catch a break.
Does not look good for those guys. The guys that are limited, and all these guys are limited on both days, on yesterday and today. Ajani Cornelius, our backup tackle, both knees are injured. He has not played the last couple of weeks. Overshown, like I said, he was limited, but we know he's not. He's going to be out this week. So is Siobhan Ravel. He's out this week. Tyler Smith, we need him in there. He's limited, just precautionary, but he's got a little knee bang up there. Wanye Thomas had a migraine last week, missed the game.
Yeah,
has been limited this week with the migraine still.
Damn, that is a really bad migraine.
That's really slowing him down. Now, we did have an addition to our roster. Perrion Winfrey, defensive tackle. We need some inside. This might knock off Mozzie Smith if Winfrey can do something in there.
Oh, boy.
Because he is on the 21-day window right now with the back issue. His 21-day window has been open, so he's on that field. And he is currently listed as limited. But we'll see. Cooper Beebe will be back. Maybe Winfrey's back also. We'll see who we have to take off the roster or cut if we can do that. I'll tell you one thing. One guy who's already off the roster is Deron Bland right here. And, I'm sorry, not Deron Bland. Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Bland, thank goodness. He's the only guy left right now for us. But Trayvon Diggs, all right? Jerry Jones was asked, is this Trayvon Diggs' last game for the Cowboys? And Jerry Jones said, quote, I don't see that today at all. He's got to get well, and he hasn't been. So Jerry Jones,
Mm,
Stephen Jones, they're pushing the win
but
from be
he's sick,
100%.
yeah.
He's gonna be no. He needs to get 100%.
I mean, that's
Yeah. He needs to be 100%. And I think there's a trade. Maybe they're gonna try to push before this Tuesday. Maybe regarding Trayvon Diggs. Watch for something like that happening. Somebody who has a man-to-man kind of defensive scheme. They might want to take a chance with someone who's like Diggs because you know what's crazy, baby? Trayvon Diggs yesterday came running onto practice. He just came. He's on
okay.
IR. He
Okay.
just ran on the field, like just on his own, running around. And he did, again, he had a sleeve on his right leg for some conditioning work, but he was just put on IR on Saturday last week, this past Saturday. So Schottenheimer said that Trayvon Diggs is, met with a neurologist. That was actually today on Friday, and he was cleared from concussion protocol. So at least the concussion part is fine, but he's still in IR for another 3 weeks. So, and you cannot be off of IR sooner than that. You guys understand what I'm saying? So that's that situation with Trayvon Diggs. Getting weirder and weirder by the minute. I think he's trying to show everybody that he is good to go, and that he's going to be somebody that either play me somehow or trade me or whatever it is. I don't know. He's showing something out there. So I have to now go get this cord, and I'm going to also let my brother know, Dr. G. But so you're going to take over the stream here for a moment. And while I do that, I do want to say one last thing because we are playing those Cardinals. I do want to say something about their injury report. We just talked about injuries. Kyler Murray was limited in practice this week for the Cardinals. I think he was limited on both days, Kyler Murray. So he has a foot issue. According to, prior to Thursday's practice, according to, there's mile markers for Murray to return to play. And according to the head coach for the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, he said, quote, get him fully healthy to play when he was asked if he's ready to start. He said yes. So I expect little man's, Kyler Murray, who's very tough to tackle, to be in this game. Also, very good defensive player Will Johnson. In addition, on the injury report, was limited with a groin issue. That's never good. Groin limited, and it happened during practice. I won't know what happens tomorrow for the practice, but not a good sign for Will Johnson. Other guys that were, Kelvin Beachum was full, but Titan Crawford, Imani DeCarmio, Zay Jones, Tyler Murray, Will Johnson, Walter Nolan, BJ Ojolari, and Garrett Williams, all these guys limited today. That's the up-to-date numbers on those guys. We'll talk about some more Cardinal-specific stuff in a minute, but first, my wife's going to take over, and I'm going to make sure my brother gets ready to call in here for the Dr. G Arizona Cardinal breakdown, since that's his team. And he knows he's been to their games, and guess what? He's going to be at this game, too.
Of course.
Cowboy Giant game. The Cowboy Cardinal game. He's going to be there in Jerry World. So, baby, go ahead and hit the chat up real quick, and I'll be right back.
Of course. So first of all, thank you so much for everybody here who has been chilling and hanging with us during this stream. Make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. But T Money is saying here, owners are still full of crap like usual, and to not care about the health of your own players. So again, that just shows how little they care about their actual investment, which are the players who build this franchise, right? And the coaches who do. But kind of rolling it back a little bit more just because with the whole Mozzie discussion, it is mind-blowing that someone who was drafted so low, and not to say the draft order is always everything, but it just really highlights the fuck-up that we made by the high investment into Mozzie. And remember, this wasn't just like a one-person fuck-up. This was a multi-level fuck-up. Someone somewhere had to ask for someone like Mozzie, and our coaching staff had obviously had to present Mozzie in some way. So, as much as we don't like to agree, there was definitely more agreement in-house than disagreement probably with Mozzie. So, and then the other comment that I really wanted to highlight was also T Money saying, can we put the medical staff on the hot seat? Because everyone's been injured at least once in the last 2 years. So remember that whole controversy during the offseason where Trayvon Diggs obviously didn't show up to do some of his rehabbing with the Cowboy doctors because he went and did his own rehabbing, things like that. Well, he tore up down and sideways that his personal rehab is really what helped him be able to come back and be healthy and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, hindsight 2020 there. But even outside of that, the Cowboys just said, he was still supposed to be here. So that seemed to be the quote unquote bigger problem, but it still really just highlighted another issue because, we've heard this rumor for years, and other players have said it, that the Cowboys' strength and conditioning coaches or some of their medical staff, not that the staff is necessarily bad, but more that, the Cowboys just really underpay them and they just aren't enough of them. So, kind of crazy for America's team and the money that Jerry makes. So, just throwing that out there. Um, and I appreciate you making that comment just because obviously it's not exactly something that we discuss too frequently here in such a direct way. So, rolling back a little bit. By the way, Fernando G cracked me up because he said Eberfuck. And not saying I haven't heard before, but just that was a well needed and well timed. So one of the other things, Scorpio said that Pickens said that he's happy here in Dallas. Just kind of rolling back to the whole kind of trade deadline stuff. So I believe our special guest might be ready to go.
Let's see.
Just throw that out there. Oh, Calvin Richard shouting it out and kicking it off here officially with the first drop of the night and the first entry into John Luna's very generous Everyone's in It.
All right, let's see. Yes.
He said it's not already if they lose to the Cardinals. It may be time to start talking about the draft. Another wasted season and no Taco and Mozzie again.
Wait, Calvin Richard is, you got to say the most important thing here.
Of course.
He's in the raffle.
I said that already. I had mentioned that.
I was trying to get the situation.
It's okay.
So let me try this again. Luckily, it's not.
Let's see if he is on the line.
Hello? Is this Dr. G? All right. I think, hold on, give me 1 second because they can't hear you. I had to block you on the other time there. Okay, now you're good. Just give me a minute to read one comment and we'll get you on here. All right, Dr. G? Give me 1 second. All right, go ahead.
All right.
Calvin Richard.
So, like Calvin Richard said, it's not already if they lose to the Cardinals that it may be time to start talking about the draft. It's another wasted season. No Taco and Mozzie again. Like, let's not draft another Taco and Mozzie.
Combo. Yeah, well, that's Michigan.
Exactly.
That's a Michigan team.
At least we know where to stay away from them.
Boise State,
Michigan is no bueno.
Boise State and Michigan. Stay away from those two teams, those two colleges. At least if you're a Cowboy fan. Anyways, thank you, Calvin Richard. Automatic. Again, I know he hits the goal. We don't. It's just that's a good way of like tracking how many are hit. But anybody who drops 5 or more, which means they hit the goal, anybody is automatically entered into that Sewn and Stitched raffle. And you guys are more than welcome to drop comments like that as well to my brother, Dr. G, here in a moment. You will hear from him in a moment here when we kind of formally introduce him. But there it is. That's the raffle. Calvin Richard, another entry in this thing. He's got a bunch already. I think he's adding to that. So shout outs to him. And again, it's unlimited.
Great.
Yeah, you get unlimited additional entries if you want to up your chances to win a Sewn and Stitch jersey of any team you want. Of course, 99.9% of the people in the house are Cowboy fans. Although I will say John Luna, Houston Texan fan, he's running the show. Sponsor of the month. It's Cash App. The Stream Boss. He's also currently leading the overall board this month. He's making it possible for everybody to just get into this thing.
That's right.
So big shout outs to Mr. John Luna. And also Calvin Richard for the drop. John Luna's at 83 points. And extra special shout out to the one and only, and unfortunately he's rooting for the wrong team. But my brother, the Cardinals suck. My brother, Dr. G, right there. You see him right there with the dead bird. Hello, Dr. G. You should be good to go now if you hear me. Hello? Check.
Yes, hello.
Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Thank you for joining the show. I know you join us whenever we play. We try to get you on the blower, on the phone, and talk a little Cowboy football. You can hear me and MCW okay? I think all good. Okay. All right. So, anyways, the thing is, we are talking Cardinals here, your team tonight at this second half of the show, I guess you can say. And I have a couple of matchups that I have to talk about, and I have a couple thoughts about the Cardinals of what I know and what I've seen and what I've studied on them. But if you don't mind, your record, you just came off with a loss, right? What's the record?
Or we're 2-5. We had a bye week last week, but we had 5 straight losses.
5 straight losses.
That's rough.
Again, the thing is a bye week. I'm sorry?
That's not even the half of it.
Oh boy.
5 straight losses, all by 4 points or less. First 3 of those we lost on the last play on a walk-off field goal. That's never been done before in the history of the NFL. And then the most recent 3 losses, which we overlapped that gem of a game against the Titans, where the last 3 games we lost after having a 7+ point lead in the start of the fourth quarter. That's never been done before in the history of the NFL.
Oh, okay. I did remember seeing that one you guys blew. I cannot believe you. But who was that against? The
Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh my God. I thought you guys. I cannot believe you guys had that game won, and then all of a sudden, like the fumble, it was a touchdown. You guys penalty on you guys, and then it went sideways.
He threw the ball in the stands before he crossed the end zone.
Yep. That's what happened. Yeah.
Do you feel like
That's
this
insane.
Cowboy game could be similar to all these other teams that kind of got their comebacks and started their winning streaks, and all this other good shit started happening to them the second they faced the Cowboys and beat them? Like,
The Cardinals.
no,
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
Oh,
the
yeah,
other way
I
around. Like, all
see.
these other bad teams faced us, they won, and now they had other good things happen to them. Like, do you think that, this 5-game loss streak?
Yeah, there's a
would be
chance for you
broken
guys to
this
bounce
Monday?
back on us. 'Cause we haven't
We could
lost
very easily be 6-1. In fact, we probably should, if you just look at the flow of the game, should be 6-1. The Seattle game probably should have gone to overtime, but I'm not counting that one as a likely win. And the 2 games we won, we almost blew, but we were also in control both of those games. So the Cardinals could 2 plays away from being 0-7.
Right,
and
consistent
a handful
team.
of plays away from being 7-0.
A consistent team would
tell.
be, 6-1 or 7-0. I get what you're saying. Consistent teams. That's funny because Schottenheimer, Cowboys coach, said that we're a talented team, we're just not consistent. I'm like, well, that means you're not good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and so that's out of our own coach's fucking mouth. Anyways, so we get the picture. Your team is not consistent, but they could have won all their games. They could have lost all their games. But you had the control of the game, is what you guys are saying. So listen, Kyler Murray's going to go
for the 7 games.
Yeah. So there you go. And Kyler Murray, how long has he been out for? Because he's playing this week. I just talked about injuries.
Who, Kyler Murray?
Yeah, and I think he's again. They're saying
I actually would be a little bit surprised if he plays, to be honest.
Really? Okay, I thought he's going to play this. I thought he was.
They're talking it up, but I have my doubts.
All right, so if you don't play, who's the quarterback?
Conversation right there, but I would not be surprised if he does not play.
All right. So no Kyler Murray would help the Cowboys because we are not good at going after shifty quarterbacks. Who's your backup? Is he shifty?
Kobe Brissett.
Well, he's not bad. I know
he's not bad. Came up with 2 games against the 2 teams with the best record in the NFL right now, Indianapolis and Green Bay. And again, probably should have won both those games. And he brings a whole different dimension to the Cardinals offense that we don't have with Kyler Murray, whose time in Arizona I do believe is going to be up very soon.
How does he play against his own? That's our defensive coordinator, and it's bad. We have one of the worst defense in the league.
I can tell you that Jacoby Brissett is obviously a bigger guy than Kyler Murray. There aren't many that are smaller. And he stands in the pocket, lets plays develop, and takes a shot. And isn't afraid to take a shot. And not a surprise that we've converted more 3rd and longs under his 2 games than we have since going back to like 2 years ago. It's outrageous with Kyler Murray. If it's 3rd and 9 or longer, we don't convert it. Period. He doesn't stand in the pocket long enough to find something and develop. I think a lot of Cardinals fans do believe that Brissett gives us the best chance to win.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah, you don't need Kyler Murray then. I guess a waste of money. He had
his chance. This is year number 7, so he's had his shot.
I guess. Yeah. Look, when looked at it coming up for a bye week, I just realized that here. But of course, the Cowboys playing like we were in a bye week last week, and an embarrassing blowout, 20-point loss to the Broncos. But again, the Cowboys are favorite in this game in Dallas. That's the reason why we're favorite. That's the only reason why. In the home matchup against the Cardinals. And I'm going to say something here. When it comes to the Cowboy, we're talking about basically, our defense versus your offense right now. I have one major matchup, and that's Everfluss, which is our defensive coordinator, former coach of the Bears, formerly defensive coordinator of the Colts, and before that, linebacker coach for the Cowboys way back when. So Everfluss is back as our defensive coordinator. Been having, I don't know if you know anything what's going on our side, but we've been having some real fucked up shit with him. Horrible year with our defense. They look like a flag football, coverage team. It's how bad. No communication. Everyone's out of position, and we got a lot of injuries now. On top of that, with everyone missing, all our safeties are missing. Trayvon Diggs, of course, he's out. A lot of craziness going on with his defense. It's just ugly, ugly, ugly. So when I look at this, I look at the Cowboys and facing again a fair share of threatening quarterbacks. You just talk about Brissett, and again, the fact that Kyler Murray could be on that field was going to be a troublesome situation for us to try to stop him. Somebody that we've always struggled. I mean, I know you've in our games with the Cardinals, we've always struggled against Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
like the Cowboys specifically. I think you've been to
Yes.
those games and you've seen
Oh
us
yeah, I was
struggle.
at the last the
Yep,
one
in
in
Dallas, COVID.
2020.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the COVID year. Yep, I remember that one. Monday Night Football, right? Or Sunday night, Monday night, right?
Monday night.
So yeah, so we're having a rematch Monday night back in Big D. But again, if you don't have that dual threat ability by Kyler Murray, it comes into like basically, if you do have him in there, it will have it. Will I believe Everfluss needs to get a spy on him, in my opinion. And the importance of gap integrity and maintaining that for the Cowboys is even bigger when you have a dual threat quarterback. But Brissett's not really that. He can kind of move a little bit, but he's not a dual threat in that way. He is, though, like you said, a stand in the pocket kind of guy. Reminds me a little bit of like a Russell Wilson. Not as good, but when we played the Giants, Russell Wilson just tore us up every time he threw the ball, and he's at the bench right now, and he tore us up. So I believe he can do that in his old age, and he's benched by Dart from the fucking Giants, a rookie. I believe that Brissett's going to be able to do the similar things. Unfortunately, now their weapons, they have one weapon, neighbors. You guys have a couple weapons in your arsenal, I guess, of receivers. I will say this before I kind of let me say like this here. I'll finish my part and you can speak on it. You tell me what you think. But in the last 3 games, I'll say this for one good thing for the Cowboys. In our last 3 games, the Cowboys defense have pressured opposing quarterbacks on about 37% of passing plays. So we need to get a little pressure on Brissett to get. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make on him. He's a veteran quarterback. In the last 3 games, though, the Cardinals have allowed opponents to pressure their quarterback on 36% of pass attempts, which is 32nd. It's the worst in the NFL. So the Cardinals are not good at not allowing pressure on their quarterback. They give up pressure on their quarterback, the worst in the NFL, which is something the Cowboys actually have been doing well. And again, this is only the last 3 games, not in the whole season, but on some of the most current numbers in the month of October, let's say. So there's a little opportunity there to get some hits on Brissett and throw him off a little bit off his game. You know what I mean? I do worry about Brissett that you mentioned him. He's a good quarterback and he can hurt. It reminds me of when we played you guys last year, I think, in Arizona. And you guys or 2 years ago when you had Dobbs. And we're like, oh, that's easy win, and then boom, you guys just tore us a new one.
Yeah.
So kind of Brissett reminds me a little bit like he can do that. He can do more than that. Dobbs is, I don't think it's as good as Brissett. So when I look at that, that's a danger. And then I'll let you finish up with this one more weapon I think you guys have outside of, I think you have Zay Jones and so, but tight end Trey McBride, very similar to our tight end and Jake Ferguson, who's number 1 in the NFL with tight end catches, is Jake Ferguson. But number 2, the only one even near him is Trey McBride from the Cardinals. He's a receiving threat, a receiving threat as in catches. And again, he's the most dangerous and consistent offensive weapon that your Cardinals have, in my opinion. He's a Pro Bowl tight end. I know some people don't know that. He's a Pro Bowl tight end. He's caught 47 passes for 421 yards and 4 touchdowns in the 7 games so far this year. And I think that's going to be a problem for the Cowboys with all of our weaknesses, our issues at linebacker coverage, safety coverage, which usually we have a safety on. We are down to our 5th string safety. I'm just saying. And we're bringing up guys from practice squad that won't even make other practice squads. We're bringing them in to start for this game. So get ready for that shit. He's a mismatch kind of player for anybody, but especially for our guys right now. And he's probably too big and too strong to try to cover him with a defensive back, a cornerback of some sort. So and probably too fast for a linebacker to cover. Although we have quick linebackers, Lou Fowl, second year, still a little bit off with the coverage here. So again, Cowboys going to have to figure out a scheme or a game plan. Everfluss going to figure out how to stop or slow down Trey McBride. On top of, like I said, the pass rush side of things. Now, I know your rushing situation, running back situation. I think one of them, I think he got hurt, out for the year. What isn't Connor out for the year? So
we have 3 of the 5 guys that started on our roster are out for the year or have been cut.
Yeah.
Top 2 guys.
You're up.
James
Yeah.
Conner is out for the year. Trey Benson's out for a while, and then Michael Carter, who we brought up from the practice squad, got released. And then that's pretty much our entire running back group. And we have really as our starter is Bam Knight, who barely made the team as a bubble guy, and then Emari DiMercato, who should have been thrown off the team for what he did against Tennessee by throwing the ball before he crossed the end zone. But
that's the guy who did it.
We have two guys right now on the active roster.
Well, he's one of the guys.
Neither guy was. These are basically the third and fourth string guys, with the third and the fifth string guys.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I was talking about that actually, in the sense that he was a guy that is one of the guys that's banged up this week. He's limited in practice, so I'm sure you hope he don't play. But damn, that's not bad.
We have quite a few of our positions that are. I think the Cowboys have it rough. What do you hear about our cornerback situation? We'll get to that later.
Yeah, no, but just to finish up the offensive side of the ball for you guys, I just talked about our defense, and I'll respond We'll have one last response to your defense, but just you heard what I said about. I'm sorry, to your offense. You heard what I said. With Kyler Murray just trying to get pressure on the quarterback, that's a key I think that the Cowboys can manage. I think a scarier key is McBride for the Cowboys try to stop it. Our safeties are all hurt. We don't have linebackers that can really cover. What if Murray ain't going to cover McBride? So I'm just saying right now, what is your outlook of your offense versus our defense? You go for it.
So I think the most important coach is not going to be Eberflus. I think it's going to end up being our former offensive line coach. I believe his name is Clayton Adams, who's now with the Cowboys.
That is true. He is. Yeah, he's the offensive coordinator against your defense. He is our offensive, and he is actually pretty
correct. No, I'm telling you why I think he's the most important coach in the game. Because
we didn't get to that. We didn't get to the offense part, but okay.
No. Let me tell you about it. I'm telling you why I think he's the most important player, most important coach.
Because he knows our
tendencies. He knows our offensive line strengths and weaknesses. He knows Kyler Murray's strengths and weaknesses. Our offensive line last year was above average. It's one of the worst in the league this year, and that's because he left. So I think that loss to the Cardinals has been dramatic. Even before James Conner got hurt, he was not the same James Conner for the first 4 games that he played, the 3 games that he played in. And I think a lot of it has to do with the blocking schemes. The running game which is our centerpiece of our offense coming into this year, has been absolutely disastrous, even before the injuries. So I think that loss for the Cardinals, and then the Cowboys, who have our playbook, is going to give them a massive advantage when it comes to applying pressure on our quarterbacks. So I think that they're having obviously a very long conversation with the defensive coordinator, basically picking apart where our holes are, where our weaknesses are. It's essentially the same offensive line we had last year. We have that part's actually been relatively healthy.
One of your guys are banged up. Beecham, I think.
I'm sorry?
I think one of your offensive linemen are banged up. Beecham?
No. Beecham's a backup, but he gets the Veterans Day rest, so he's
otherwise so rest.
He should be
healthy. I got you. Right.
But we have Paris Johnson, left tackle. He's probably the only real solid guy we got on the offensive line. Our interior offensive line has not been very good at pass protection. We have Froholt, the center. We have Evan Brown and Will Hernandez, who's back from injury. Those two guys are the guards. They give up a lot of pressure up the middle. And that's part of the problem with Kyler Murray, is that the moment that there's even the slightest hint of any pressure, he panics, he runs, and then some guy holds, and there's a 10-yard penalty, or he has a check down to McBride. And sure, he's got lots of catches, but these are all check down passes.
Right, I see.
Kyler Murray doesn't throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field. He hasn't.
So let me ask you a question. I'll stop you right there for a moment, because we're moving through your defense, but the fact that you haven't, through your offense, but the fact that you have a weaker interior, and trust me, we know about Will Hernandez with the Giants, but the thing is that our strengths actually is switched, because Micah used to be our demon from the outside, and now Kenny Clark is our inside guy, and he's actually got second most sacks on the team, and he's a one tech. He's like 350 pounds. And he gives a lot of pressure on the inside. Again, one of the top kind of interior defensive linemen. More of a run stopper, but he's actually been very good on a pass rush. So that may give you guys some trouble if you don't. You got to double team him constantly, because if you're weak inside, and he is just naturally very good. Before he was in the Packers, but he's naturally he's a game wrecker inside possibly. So that's something that's a key. Another kind of additional key I didn't realize, that your weakness inside could be a help for us. Now, not Mozzie Smith or Osa as much, but more Kenny Clark, number 95, in my opinion. Anyways, go ahead, continue.
And then on the right tackle, we have Jonah Williams, who missed most of last year. He only played one game after an injury. in Buffalo, but he has also been another weak spot of our offensive line. I mean, he got made look silly last game against Michael Parsons, but then he makes a lot of people look silly too. So it's not unique.
Yeah,
but
Mike.
He basically wrecked the game once he went once he attacked the right end of our offensive line.
Yeah.
So
And
we're healthy at the offensive line, but they have not been playing well. I think part of that, what maybe masked the problems last year, was the coaching, and that's gone. And that's the only real change we've had in our offensive line from last year.
It's crazy because
backup tackle, but he actually does get into the game. Once we lost our blocking tight end, we've had Beecham in there as a sixth offensive lineman, basically doing the role of a fullback, or as a tight end, essentially,
the extra blocker,
as an extra blocker. Mm-hmm. So
I'm going to say this. I am going to say this about when you were talking about your offensive line. It's funny. Clayton Adams, he's actually surprisingly done great with our offensive line. A lot of young guys. And he really, he works. I've read, and we talked about it here on the channel, that he actually works in coordination with the running backs and the offensive line, and it kind of gets things kind of on the same page, which is something the Cowboys have been not really doing well in past years till this year. So, we'll talk about the offense in a minute on our side and your defense, but that's a great point about, first of all, knowing about our opposing offensive team, which is you guys. And, knowing your schemes and the way your tendencies and that kind of stuff. That's a great point with Clayton Adams, our offensive coordinator, helping out, our defensive side of the ball, which we need as much help as possible. But I get you getting a lot of check downs. McBride supposedly is, he's bigger. He's too big for cornerbacks, but too fast for linebackers. That's what I'm hearing. And he's got 4 touchdowns. Those are check. It sounds like, kind of goal line stuff from him. But either way, Pro Bowl guy, I think we got to keep it up. Last thing I want to talk about is your receivers. Who are they now? I mean, Zay Jones, I'm assuming, is one of them, right?
Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the number one. And then Michael Wilson is our number 2. Zay Jones is the 3 guy, and he actually was a complete ghost. I mean, speaking of Halloween, total ghost. This guy, he only gets his name out there for actually he would draw maybe one interference every couple of weeks, and that's about it. Last season he had very few catches. The guy was a complete non-factor in our offense. Well, guess what? We put Jacoby Brissett in there now, and all of a sudden, let's plays develop, and now he's starting to have a little bit of a turnaround. He's not so invisible anymore.
And I'm assuming he's a slot receiver, and he's the guy in the middle.
He'd be the number 3. Then Dortch would be the gadget guy we put in there. He's actually pretty good in the open field that you can get on the ball. But he's a very diminutive player, and he's not going to be able to take too many hits. But he can be shifty, and so he can certainly make things happen. But those are the top 4 guys you're going to see. You'll be Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson as your 1 and 2, and then there's a pretty big drop off.
So I'm looking at your official roster though, just so you know. And Zay Jones is marked as on the other side of Marvin Harrison. So I thought Zay Jones would be more of a slot guy. Michael Wilson is more of your slot guy, with Dortch being your backup slot guy. Basically, those guys in the slot are the reason I'm asking, because there's no Trayvon Diggs, we're going to be forced to have to use Bland on the outside. Deron Bland, who's very good at locking down the slot guy, but now he's got to go to the outside, probably go up against someone like Marvin Harrison. Or Zay Jones, who he might have an issue with sometimes out there, but he's good on the outside, but he's much better on the slot. So I don't know if they're going to want to, I don't say waste him on Michael Wilson. Is he going to be that much danger? I don't know. We have a couple guys that could kind of play that spot, but I think the Cowboys are in trouble when it comes to Brissett versus quick passes to these guys. So I think that is an issue for the Cowboys when it comes to our coverage situation. Outside of going towards Deron Bland, I think, you go against number 20, Elam. He's going to be easy pickings, to get the ball past him. Yeah. And, you're going to go against guys like Reddy Stewart, who's an undrafted. I mean, he's a trash player. He's got to start for us because we have nobody else. So you guys, I think, going to have an ability to move the ball on us. I don't know how good your offense is, but it feels like you guys are going to have.
It does go through Trey McBride. I agree with you. He's probably our most consistent weapon.
Yeah, consistency. I think
we might say our receivers really, haven't put up big numbers throughout most of the season. They had a couple of good games when Brissett came in, but in the first 5 games, they really have a lot of stats from our receiving core. A lot of those targets were going to McBride. So McBride was probably our most targeted weapon until the last 2 games once Kyler Murray got injured. But McBride is still going to be a handful. The knock on him last year was that he never scored touchdowns. He got 100 catches didn't get his first touchdown until the last week of the season, or 2 weeks from the end of the season. They set a record.
He's got 4 this year right now. Yeah.
This year with Brissett, he had a 2-touchdown game the last time out, and people were like, this is calling into question the future of Kyler Murray. So I think he's probably going to be the biggest weapon. We have an offense, and to some extent, some of our receivers really want to get past Marvin Harrison, who also does not get targeted a whole lot. Once you get down a couple of spots in the receiving core, these guys are not going to be getting lots of targets.
Well, we do have better receiver than you guys. Just flip it over and go to offense. Our offense versus your defense. Well, first special teams real quick. Dortch, your gadget guy, he's your returner. I see here.
Yes.
Kind of like
he's had a couple near breaks, but nothing beyond that.
You know our guys, Cavante Turpin. I'm sure you know him, and he'll be back there returning punts and kicks. He was injured a couple weeks ago, but he came back and he'll be ready to roll. Punter's Anger, who by the way has got illness. He's a Pro Bowl punter, Brian Anger, but he will be. It sounds like he'll be available, and of course our kicker, you know him, Brandon Aubrey. Yeah, maybe you don't know him, but Brandon Aubrey. Everybody knows Brandon Aubrey. Anyway, he's going to kick a 70-yarder on your guys.
So he was supposed to kick one against Denver. That didn't happen.
I know. We couldn't do anything against Denver, so we'll see at the Cardinals. That's what we're going to talk about right now. But that's basically our. I see your guys. You guys have your kicker is who? Chad Ryland.
Chad Ryland, who came in last year after Matt Prater got injured, and this guy completely off the street essentially after he was cut by New England. He comes in and has in four games he has 3-game winners and has been pretty solid throughout. He can certainly make them from 60 plus. I think his record is.
They use different footballs. We're talking about another show that they use different footballs for kickers now, so it actually goes farther. Footballs nowadays, like this year. So yeah, you might kick a 60. He ain't kicking nothing close to 70 like our guy. Now,
I suspect not, but he certainly. I think as most kickers in these days, they're 60, 61 is not anywhere near out of anyone's range anymore. But he's been very solid. The biggest concern I think in our special teams unit would be the punter. So
I was going to ask you, was our Pat O'Donnell
last season, but he's on IR. So we got a guy off the street named O'Donnell, who I'm just sitting there just waiting. I went to the game a couple of weeks ago in Indianapolis, just waiting for the game to be lost on a bobbled snap or on a hold or something on a kick. But he turned out he didn't make any glaring mistakes. So, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I think he's actually been average as a punter and has been solid on holding. And that's my biggest fear. You bring a new guy in for that role, all of a sudden the chemistry is messed up. Yeah. But our long snapper has been there now since 2016. Aaron Brewer, he's a veteran, has been very solid in the last 9-10 seasons with us.
Well, there's 32 solid long snappers in there. Usually, there's like 28 in the NFL.
Well, in 2016, we lost 3 of the first 4 games because of bad long snapping.
Oh, well, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, and so the guy had retired, and then the guy they brought in was a disaster. Then they brought Brewer in mid-season. He's been there ever since.
Yeah. Now, let me flip it over here, because I do have a couple things to say when it comes to the other side of the ball. Some keys to this situation when it comes to our offense versus your defense. Of course, Dak Prescott. We got Javonte Williams, who came from Denver. We had Miles Sanders. He's out for the year. So Jaden Blue, a rookie. He's number 23. He'll be playing in there. Some snaps. We got Jake Ferguson, number 87, tight end. Schoonmaker's 89. He's just more of a blocker. He gets you a 1-yard gain on a pass. And then, Hunter Lipke's fullback. It kind of reminds me of what you were saying with one of your with your offensive lineman as your 6th guy. He's kind of a fullback tight end, Hunter Lipke, who actually helped get us a couple touchdowns on the ground by blocking. So that's kind of like more or less the running game. Of course, the receivers. I said Ferguson, but one of the main guys, in the NFL there, and CeeDee Lamb. You got George Pickens with them, and they're both going to be active and ready to go this week in the full way. It definitely will put a strain on your defensive backfield. Those 2 guys, and then you have right now Jalen Tolbert, but I'm hearing things about him being a guy that the Cowboys might want to trade before the trade deadline. He's not really worth even a number 3 spot in this team. And I know there's another guy, Jonathan Mingo. I don't know if you heard of him, but he hasn't even played a snap yet for the Cowboys, but he's ready to go whenever the Cowboys want. He was inactive last week. And then Cavante Turpin, who's our returner. We're trying to not use him as a returner, on offense so much, so we can use him more as a returner. But when he's 100%, we're probably going to throw him in there for a couple extra plays. And he's somebody hard to cover when he plays in the slot. He has incredible speed, but he is like 5'6". So that's basically the Cowboy situation when it comes to the offensive line. You're getting Cooper Beebe back, who's rookie last year, and fantastic last 2 years. Really, he got hurt, but Cooper Beebe is the real deal when it comes to run blocking and pass blocking. As our center, our guards, everybody in the chat knows that we have to replace Zach Thomas. So we got Booker this year with our first round pick, and then we have Tyler Smith on the left side with Guyton on the left side, our first round pick from last year, and then on the right side is Terrence Steele, our most veteran guy, I guess, on that field out there. So that's our starting. We finally got our first time in very few times this year. We have our full offensive line as well. Really, we have our full offense as much as we can on that field this week for the first time in a while. So we'll see how that works against your Cardinals. Now, that's the first part. I want to just give you a layout of the land when it comes to the Cowboys. I will say this when it comes to the Cowboys, some keys, and then I'll let you have the floor about your defense. But in the last 3 games, I'm just going 3 games. The Cowboys have scored 23 points per game in the red zone. So that means once the Cowboys get in the red zone, we're scoring touchdowns usually, right? But we're scoring points. Now that's the 4th best in the NFL, getting in the red zone, and that's in the month of October. While the Cardinals, your Cardinals, have allowed 21 points per game in the red zone, and that is the 7th worst in the NFL. So in the red zone, you guys collapse and give up points you guys collapse, give up points, or don't get takeaways or stops when you get into the red zone. The last 3 games also, the Cowboys offense has 7 touchdowns. Touchdowns now, when we enter the red zone, even with the shitty game against the Broncos. 7 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. That's the 5th most in the NFL. The Cardinals in the last 3 weeks have allowed 8 touchdowns in the red. We're not just talking about points, we're talking about touchdowns. A field goal is one thing. That's a 4-point difference right there. So yeah, you're allowing 8 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. That is the 3rd most in the NFL. So red zone defense for you guys is a glaring issue. The Cowboys, even against good defenses, I will say, we do drive the field. The Cowboys do know how to get down the field with a lot of weapons. Now, I talked about Javonte Williams, who was ranked 2nd best in yardage in the NFL, 1st in the NFC, and I think in touchdowns, overall touchdowns, he was 1st in the NFC as well, and 2nd in the NFL. At least 2 weeks ago, he had 2 more touchdowns against his old team in Denver, even though we lost. So I'm sure scoring touchdowns, he's still the tops in the league, one of the top guys in rushing yards as well. But to me, it's more about our passing game against your secondary. That to me is one of the bigger keys. So, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens now both ready to go 100%, and that duo will be a problem, I think, for your defensive backfield. You'll tell me more about that in a minute. But the Cardinals right now overall are allowing 234, basically 235 yards passing per game. That is ranked 25th out of 32 in the NFL. And despite Dak Prescott coming off that worst game of the season, Cowboys are, with a bad game by Dak last week against Denver, Cowboys are still averaging, they're almost getting to 300 yards per game in the passing game. 263.8 right now for the Cowboys when it comes to the passing game, which is number 1 in the NFL. So there's a matchup that has a ripple effect, in my opinion, for the entire Cowboy offense. You want the offense to find a rhythm? We can attack you guys where you guys are maybe at your weakest, which is allowing passing yards. And we are the best at getting passing yards, getting yards through the air. So again, to me, that's a way the Cowboys can sway the game in our favor. I'll say one last thing about this. This was a major part of this. Coverage is one thing, but pressure is another thing. Do you guys get pressure? Cowboys offensive line. And that's with a broken offensive line we had for about 2 games. We had undrafted backups there. Cowboys have only allowed 10 sacks this year. That's also credit to Dak Prescott. Cowboys have only allowed 10 sacks this year. That is 3rd fewest in the NFL. The Cardinals' defensive line and their defense have registered a total of 12 sacks for the entire year. That is the 4th least in the NFL. So not a good pass rush team as far as sacks are concerned. So that's my assessment of our offense versus your defense and some keys for my team to win. Give us your final kind of, thoughts on your, not final, but your full thoughts on your Cardinal defense, and then kind of versus maybe a couple matchups against our powerful offense.
So I think the Cardinals are built just like the offense was built to be clock control and run the ball, grind it out, long drives, that kind of an offense. And the defense, I think, has the same mentality. They don't give up the big play, but it's this, death by 1,000 cuts. And so they have this, the first few weeks of the year, this bend but not break sort of a defense. And it's all fine and good. They'll hold teams to field goals. But when your lead's 2 points, 2 minutes left in the game, holding them to a field goal doesn't get you very far. You lose. And that's been the Cardinals' problem. They've been actually pretty good overall at the start of the year, limiting not long drives, but limiting the quick strike. And when we build a big lead, we get very conservative, both on offense and defense. And so we're more than content to let teams just march down the field methodically as long as it eats up the clock. It worked against New Orleans and Carolina, didn't work the rest of the season. And part of that is, I think, why our record is what it is. They don't bring a lot of pressure. They bring a 4-man rush pretty much every play. They have no desire to bring more players.
Can I actually?
It seems to work, but
Yeah,
they're almost afraid to do it because they know the back end of the defense is very suspect.
That is, I just want as a correlation there that matches identically with us. Not a correlation, is a definite match, is a perfect match because that is exactly the issue with the Cowboys defense. Everfluss uses a 4-man front, but remember he thought he was going to have Micah Parsons there the whole year. That works there. When you can rush for a guy as a Micah, being one of those guys, but when a week before the season started, they already installed the defense and they take him out the mix. So now Cowboys expect, is Fowler going to put up some number 13? Is he going to get some pass rushing? Some sacks. Is number 54 Sam Williams going to get some sacks? The answer is no and no. So the best guy on our team is number 53 James Houston, and he came off a practice squad of the Lions, and he has 3 sacks for the Cowboys. When you see him in the game, he's the guy you got to worry about getting sacks on the outside. So what I'm trying to say is we bring a 4-man rush. When we bring that 5th guy in a blitz, we get sacks, we get interceptions, we get tipped passes, we get quarterbacks throwing bad passes and pressured. So when you bring in that blitz, it works great. But he's blitzed. He's the least blitzing guy in the NFL. Our defensive coordinator.
He must be the second least because we're pretty bad about that.
Well,
and
I was going to say the week we won, the
trust
week
we don't have in our
the week we beat the Commanders last week, the week before the Broncos, we blitzed 50% of the time, and we just we really were able to handle them. So it goes to what you're saying about your Cardinals, that basically if you blitz, you can actually affect the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about with Dak, though. I will say that. So Dak's definitely grown some in the sense of like reading the blitz and stuff. He's very good against the blitz. But yeah, when you can get pressure with 4 guys, it's just a matter of time before someone gets open in the secondary. So if you blitz, you have less guys covering in the secondary, which, it goes into your thing about the issues in the back end, which is what we have. Major issues in the back end. So all right, I just wanted to bring that comparison. I'm sorry?
So the Cardinals, their first 2 starting cornerbacks for the year, Sean Murphy-Bunting, injured before training camp, gone for the year. Number 2 guy, Starling Thomas V, gone before preseason starts for the year. So our 1 and 2 corners done for the year, never saw even preseason action. The 3rd guy, Garrett Williams, who's a second-year player, he gets injured about 3 weeks ago. He's gone on IR for a while, maybe for this season. So we have the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string guys all out for the year, or at least out for a big chunk of the year. First 2 guys out for the year. So what do we bring in? Well, we have Max Melton, a second-year guy out of Rutgers. He's the main guy. We have Will Johnson, who's a rookie. He's also starting now. And then the other guy
Will Johnson, is he a high draft pick though? He's a rookie, but he's a high draft pick. Will Johnson.
No, I think he was a late second and 3rd round pick.
That's still important, but all right, I thought he was higher. All right,
true, but he's basically starting his third game of the season. He's now the starting player. And then we have Keitrell Clark, who's the senior guy there. He's the 3rd-year player who's basically, though he has some starting experience as a rookie, he's a bubble guy who barely makes the roster, and he wouldn't have made the roster if not for these other injuries. And the guys behind them are a rookie, Burke, who doesn't play, and then Elijah Jones, who's a second-year guy but was injured all of last year, basically didn't play at all last season, and he's also never even active. So we have second-year player, first-year player, third-year player, a second, and a rookie. And it's just no experience in the cornerback position. And we have basically the 4th, 5th, and 6th string guys that are playing. So not surprisingly, I think the defensive coordinator doesn't really trust the back end. But at the same time, if you don't pressure the quarterback, someone's gonna get open, no matter who you have playing the defensive backfield.
I mean, if you give the quarterback if you give him 5 seconds, someone's going to get open. And I'm just going to let you
You
know
can
on
have
the
5 Hall of Famers covering; it won't matter.
exactly. So if you guys already have problems as normally like that, then it's going to be a problem against the Cowboy offensive firepower. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. I mean, I don't know how big you guys are when it comes to Pickens. Pickens goes deep. He draws a lot of pass interference. That's one of his main things. Aside of making some, has a wide range.
Yeah, the rookie's gotten burnt on a few of those. Not surprising, he is a rookie, but yeah, he gets a little bit grabby and has been flagged quite a bit. That's his big knock on him. And then
So
when
yeah,
you bring in our safety cohort, everyone knows about Buda Baker, but he has not been putting up big numbers. He's living off of his reputation. Most Cardinals fans are through with him, and they want to unload him for a draft pick or two.
See, I would see Buda Baker. Baker probably go up against like Ferguson and try to neutralize at least that threat. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming he'd go up against someone like a tight end that Cowboys leading the NFL in catches in all tight ends with Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, we usually put some inside linebacker who can't cover on a tight end.
Oh, well, then we'll tear him up.
Disaster. Oh yeah, Buda Baker's not really good in coverage, and he's not much of a ball hawk.
I'm looking here. You guys have you have Mac Wilson.
So we'll get to the inside linebackers in a second. But the rest of the safety core, we have Baker, we have Jalen Thompson, and then Rabbit, Adrian Taylor Demerson, who's been decent. Those three guys get a lot of playing time.
Well, Crawford is injured,
but they don't make turnovers. We're one of the least, lowest interception team in the league right now.
Yeah, I got you. So damn, you guys are in trouble at the safety spot too. I mean, it's like just like us a little bit there.
We don't give up 40 points a game. The reason why we don't give up 40 points a game, or we haven't, is because we force teams to take up a lot of the clock, and so we end up, it's a back and forth kind of. We have a long drive, they have a long drive, and we can limit possessions that way. And really, to be honest, the only chance we're really going to have to win is if we do something like that. Because I don't think we have the players, the playmakers to stop drives or to force turnovers to end drives.
Yeah. I got you saying so. If it comes down to we're driving down the field, we're probably gonna be able to get that field goal or that touchdown.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about your linebackers, I mean, I see you said Will Johnson. He's a cornerback, and Melton and Jalen Max Melton as your right cornerback. Your slot is Jalen Thompson. So that's what I'm getting on my side. You said Catrell Clark and Elijah Jones.
Yeah, Elijah Jones is never active. I doubt he'll be active in this game.
So I mean,
Denzel Burke is a rookie who he's just somebody we stash for future development.
That's good for the Cowboys. Then I think that is a good thing. I hope we're able to scheme and try to go at you guys with our superstar receiving core. Someone get grabby with Pickens, the easy flag, or with CeeDee Lamb. He gets the calls now. Well, he's a veteran, and CeeDee Lamb just runs routes fantastically. So you're really going to have trouble covering those two guys, I think, even with three guys. So, we'll have to wait and see. But that's definitely a weakness for you guys. And, again, I don't know how your run stop is, how your running game is, but
they've been halfway decent at that. And that's where I get to finish up here at the front.
Yeah, because Calais Campbell old, but is he still viable?
Calais Campbell is the only real standout on the defensive line.
That's what I was going to say. I've been saying this for 3 years. 3 years, people have been telling me he's washed up. I'm like, he still doesn't. He's not a Pro Bowler like he is, but he still does a damn good job. But I don't know. Maybe the rest of your team just is not that good. That's why he looks good. I don't know.
Well, he probably stands out. He's made the big plays in the games we've won. He's made the big plays in the big moments, so he gets noted for that. But I would say that the defensive front in terms of run stop has been decent. Nothing sexy about it, but they've been solid, and they just rotate guys through. So we have a lot of guys that get playing time, and we've been banged up there as well. We've obviously our first round draft pick from this past season, Walter Nolan. He hasn't played yet a single down. I don't even know what his number is. He hasn't even played in preseason either. He's been gone. Although he's now been taken off the PUP list and is opened up his return window. I doubt he plays this week, but he's going to be joining our team at some point. But first round pick, we're counting on this guy, and he hasn't played a single snap. And then the guy we drafted last year in the first round, Darius Robinson, he's been injured all of last year, just about. And then this year he's been out for a couple of weeks and has not looked good when he has played. But the other guys who bring in who are nobodies and it's just these low draft picks or undrafted free agents. We have Dante Stills, who I think is a 5th or a 6th rounder a couple years ago. He's played pretty well. And then PJ Mustipher, who was just a camp body dragged in there, who no way he makes the roster, but because we've had injuries with not just Walter Nolan, but also Bilal Nichols, and a couple other guys we have, the Justin Jones. We have these guys who are all banged up. Darius Robinson, who was injured during preseason as well, that PJ Mustipher made the roster, and he's actually had a few splash plays. So we're really, no one guy stands out, but they do a pretty decent job with the run stop. But they get no pressure on the quarterback, and that's, of course,
I want to
fall apart.
I mean, some of that also falls to
Thompson as well, another guy who's been in there, but he's been also very mediocre at best when it comes to any kind of.
Dalvin Tomlinson, I'm surprised because he's supposed to be a bigger name for you guys, but he's a little older too. And the thing is that you guys have again, because of Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson, you guys have the ability to take up like two offensive linemen to block. Now we do have a pretty young but strong offensive line. They're getting better every time they play together every week, so it's going to be a good battle against number 93 and number 94 on your team. And like you said, Dante Stills, he's probably doing, able to be seen more because the other guys are the bigger names. But, and I mean that like they might require more attention. So he gets a little less attention. He can maybe take advantage of that. But, it's not just about, I mean, that's going to be good. On some plays, you guys are going to need that. And you probably will slow down our run game. I will say this, though. Like you said, not enough in the pass game. That's where you guys have to bring a blitz. You don't do that. And that's going to pick you apart. With Pickens and with CeeDee Lamb, and even if they don't put Buda Baker on Ferguson, number 87, he'll get you as well. So a lot of weapons. I see a lot. I see this gonna be a high scoring game. Is what I see.
I think again it comes down to if we can limit possessions, and I see this game.
Well, yes.
We'll get to the score prediction here in a little bit, but to round out the rest of our defense, we have our outside linebackers.
Well, I want to say one last thing about the linebackers because the other one's also responsible for stopping the run. So. They maintain their gap assignments, and then if they do that, and your Calais Campbells and your Dalvin Thompsons can take on 2 blockers, you're gonna have some unblocked linebackers sneaking through. By the way, shout out to a Detroit Lion fan in the house, Motor City Maniac. There's my brother, not just my real brother on the screen here with me there, Motor, and Dr. G representing. But yes, appreciate you in here. Happy Halloween. I'll see you on the birthday stream over there on Southern Southern Grown. On Wendy's stream over there. So shout outs to Motor City Maniac. But go ahead. I just wanted to shout them out and let you continue with your linebackers because, again, they help maintain the run gap assignments, and then that slows down our running game. It's not just your front line making the tackles. It's them holding the blocks so the linebackers can go in there freely and make the tackles, And that's why your run defense is pretty decent as well. It's both those reasons.
To some extent. But I think the big problem with our team last year was that, again, the pass rush was terrible. And so we brought in a bunch of guys, Josh Sweat and Baron Browning. Baron Browning was a late season acquisition last season from, I think, Denver. And those 2 guys have contributed this year, but not really changing the numbers or the statistics. We're still ranked pretty low in terms of any kind of pass pressure. Nathan Collins is still out there, but again, I kind of forget he's on the roster sometimes. He doesn't really do a whole lot. And then, of course, we're supposed to have BJ Ojulari, but he's been injured all of last year and all of this year, and who knows if we'll ever see him again. He's also been activated off his 21-day practice window, but again, I doubt he sees any action in the next week or 2. No. So then we have, and then I think of all these positions we have on defense, I still think they're our weakest one. We haven't gotten to that one yet. It's our inside linebacking duo with Mac Wilson Sr. and Hakeem Davis Gaither. Those 2 guys, I'm going to tell you, the only reason they're starters because there's nobody really behind them to push them. They don't really excel very much. And I can say when they try to put them on a tight end, it's an embarrassment. We'll have sometimes one of our front guys, our edge rushers, trying to get on a tight end, which is a terrible mismatch. I'm not really sure. Again, they do help with the run support, but they're not. I think Mac Wilson is the one who carries the green dot on his helmet. But again, I think that's another area of significant weakness in our defense, which is where you see these critical third downs get converted all the time. We just don't do any one thing well consistently enough. No,
mean,
our whole
I'm sorry.
defense has
I don't know if you
weaknesses
heard me
as
there.
well.
I was on mute on my side. Is that where your problems kind of? I mean, is that where it all kind of tumbles down? Is that kind of lose control of things when we can get to that point because you have so many issues, or?
To be honest, even if we were healthy, I think we'd have problems.
So it sounds like it's more of
I
a
think the
scheme-based
personnel.
coaching thing.
I
No,
think the personnel, the inside linebacking
doesn't
area
match.
was neglected this
Mm.
season. It's not an area of high value, that and safety, I think. And so they were really putting a lot of their resources on the defensive front and on the defensive backs. And then we had, of course, all the guys who were counting on get injured. We had the rookie, the first-round pick, Walter Nolan, injured. We have Darius Robinson, first-round pick a year ago, injured. We have all the quarterbacks getting injured. So luckily we drafted a couple of guys that obviously are getting playing time. But I think even if these guys were healthy, we'd still have pretty significant holes at various areas in our defense. And again, if you're not going to use the guys you got to put any kind of blitzing or any kind of pass rush, again, it doesn't matter who's covering in the back end. And it's a very ultra-conservative, fearful, bend but not break sort of a defensive strategy that I think has in large part doomed us to lose these last 5 games. When the game's on the line in the fourth quarter, we fold.
Our guys seem to
win the game. We don't make it.
The problem with our defense, we play about 90% zone on average, and again, guys like Trayvon Diggs not playing, but these guys on our side are not used to playing just zone. They play a lot of man and pressure. When we played with when Quinn ran the defense, we played a lot of press coverage and just saying because you had the pressure, you had the ability to have someone applying pressure in a consistent way like Micah Parsons. We don't have that, so now we're playing zone. So it's just a matter of the quarterback waits until someone gets open. That's what's been killing us, and that's what's probably going to happen with you guys. That's why I do foresee a back and forth.
Because he'll have the patience to wait and stand in the pocket.
That's what I'm trying. If you look at Russell Wilson, you watch the Cowboy. That's where when you talk about Brissett, and I'm thinking about you explained to me the way he's playing. I know the way he plays as well, but he still seems to be playing with that confidence, Brissett, and that I remember him playing with the Colts, let's say, the Browns. But the thing is that that's the kind of patience you need against the Cowboy defense. If we're not blitzing, you're going to get a touchdown, possibly. You will split us down. You will split us. Somebody will be lost in coverage, and it's just a matter of time. So, yeah, but that's why I'm trying to say. I think that you're not maybe expecting a 37-35 ending, but that's what I'm kind of expecting because of the inability for your team to have pass rush and to have back end coverage, and for the same reasons. I mean, I think our offense is overall better than yours, but when you flip it around the other way, it's like your offense is going to be able to do the same thing because not because your offense is so great. It's more because Brissett is going to be patient and your receivers will become open. As long as they catch the ball, you're going to do the same damage that CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens do. It's going to take more effort for George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb to make their plays than your guys to make their plays, even if they're worse. So it's because of the coverage is so bad for the Cowboys. You're going to have guys wide open 20 yards down the field. If Brissett has
Murray's too short to see them over his line, but Brissett is not. And that's
my point. That's why I'm a little more nervous about this. I know the Cowboys are a favorite, but there's definitely not. This is no easy game for either team, and they both have. I would say they both have similar problems. I like your assessment of Clayton Adams being our offensive coordinator, formerly your offensive coordinator. Really helped our offensive line
coach.
Sorry, offensive line coach, but he's our offensive coordinator, and he is great at getting these guys developed on the offensive line, which is something the Cowboys always look forward to having, and also getting the running game going. Just because we didn't really have much of the running game, but we, second leading rusher in the NFL, touchdowns, as well on the ground. I mean, I'm just saying I said total touchdowns from a running back. I think he's number one. My point is that I think who's the Colts? Taylor. You just play the Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. They're running back.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor. He's the only guy. He's the only one with a lot. He was the only. He had 100 yards more. He was in first place than Javonte Williams. So again, Williams is our offense has become a lot more deadlier because we become balanced than we were in the past when we just had to throw the ball because we had the stars and we couldn't get a yard on the ground. But you also get to a point where if you get a defense that's pretty good at stopping the run, making us one-dimensional, you better have the back end to cover us. And that's where or blitz us, and that's where I think your problem
Well,
comes
we
in. So
don't.
yeah,
so,
well,
so damned
so
if we
if you
do,
guys
damned if
don't
we
blitz
don't.
us, if you blitz us, Dak is one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz.
Exactly.
So if you blitz us or you don't blitz us, I think you're in trouble. That's not going to change. I think it comes down more to the Cowboys. Some people in the chat saying we need like 3 or 4 stops. Like Thomas Garrett saying we need at least 3 or 4 stops against you guys on Monday night. If we can get that, we should win the game. We get three
Yeah,
or
I
four
think that
stops.
if you see, you're going to see the punter a lot in this game. And I think that's the case both in our Green Bay and our Indianapolis games. The last 2 games we've lost had exact same script. Low scoring first half. Second half, the teams basically just traded possessions where they'd march down 80 yards down the field and get points. The problem was, they get a touchdown, we get a touchdown. They get a touchdown, we get a
Right.
touchdown.
You never
And we
close it
get a
off.
field goal, and they get a touchdown, and we
Right.
lose the game.
Then it starts
And
to
that,
pull away.
both the Green Bay and the Indianapolis game, it was just trading points. But
Well,
first one to blink, who got the field goal, not the touchdown, lost the game by 4 points.
I hear you. Cowboys against the Broncos, we get to the fucking 1 yard line, we can't get in the end zone after a great drive, and we keep driving down the field against a very good defense, and we can't, and we just like penalty, go back on, 3rd and inches, and we get a penalty. Now it's 3rd and 6, and now we have
Well,
to
still
like,
technically 3rd and inches, but yes, a lot more inches.
yeah, it's 3rd and 5 inches. My point is that I know I get what you're saying, but the point is that if the Cowboys screw themselves and get to the goal line and screw themselves, or get even with the points we score against good defenses. So it really comes down. I agree with you. The blink because the Cowboys it was like matching, but as soon as we had a chance to get a touchdown, we didn't get it. We had to get the field goal. I said that's it. That's the kind of game we had to play against Denver. Now what you're saying you need to get against us, and we can't have that happen. And we had it happen against the Broncos, and we lost control of the game. And I hope it happens to you guys against us. But the thing is, I think our offense is better than your offense. So, we should be able to put up more touchdowns technically. But our defense is so bad in the secondary, and it's so confused. And we have so many backups in the secondary that are confused that I don't know what to say about that. I think that if Jacoby Brissett has patience, it'll be a high scoring game starting in the second quarter. Forget halftime. After halftime, second quarter, you're going to see the score start to be like 14-10. Someone's going to be up 14-10, or someone's going to be up 17-7 or some shit in the beginning of the second quarter or into the second quarter. I just see that happening. I'm not obviously a fan of that. The Cowboys having zero defense to be able to stop you guys, but yeah, I mean, this is the reality as a Cowboy fan that I've understood that there's no way the Cowboys are going to be able to do much to stop. Anyway, I've seen the Cowboys against the worst offenses, and they can't stop them. So, you guys have solid quarterback, and so uh, decent overall offense, and you're going to be fine. In my book, in the sense of staying blow for blow with us. If we hit you with a touchdown, I can see you guys come right back and get a touchdown. Even if you get a field goal, what I'm saying? I still think you guys, we still are doing enough stuff to mess up and give you guys a chance to get back into things. But yeah, if it's down to the end of the game, Dak, the offense, pretty good at kind of putting the dagger in if we need to. So yeah, maybe be if another game for you to suffer that way.
No, I think something's in they give. I don't think the Cardinals lose a close one. I think we either get blown out or we somehow find a way to win. I think that that streak of last second losses will end, but not necessarily in a good way.
Let's go predictions because we played you guys. And every time we play you guys, even when I think we're going to win, you guys blow us out. Even when we're going to lose, you guys blow us out almost every single time. The last 5 times we've played. So
7 of the last 8 games the Cardinals have won. I think something like that.
That's disgraceful. At least we have 5 Super Bowls. You have 0. Anyways, the important thing. There's 4 teams in the league back then. Come on.
No, there were quite. Look at my 25. There are about 28 teams in the league.
Yeah, and out of those 28
most
teams,
don't exist anymore because we beat them. That's why.
Out of those 28 teams, 25 sucked. They were like,
they're out of the league because they couldn't handle the Cardinals. That's what it comes down to.
Those tough Cardinals beating up on little JV teams. Anyways, listen.
Well, they beat them up.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, the thing is that final score. I mean, I see it. And I hate saying into the 40s, so I will never say into the 40s, but I will say, 38-35 Cowboys win. Brandon Aubrey kicks a 67-yarder at the buzzer to win the game. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboys.
I don't think it'll be as high scoring. So I think I don't think there'll be a lot of punting, but I think there'll be a lot of long, slow, grinded out kind of drives on both ends of the field.
Oh, really?
So I see maybe 27-24 Cardinals when Aubrey misses a last second 65-yard field goal. I would have tied it.
67. That's the
Or
breaks the
better
ball.
yet, no, he misses a 19-yard field goal. That would have tied it.
Well, he's missed an extra point this year because he got blocked,
I do, yes.
but he's never missed an extra point. I mean, a field goal this year yet, not one.
Well,
He's only missed
maybe
an
we
extra
win
point.
27-26 when he misses the extra point.
Well, that's your best chance. He probably has a better chance of missing an extra point than missing a 65-yard field goal. I'm just letting
I
you know.
agree. If it comes down to the game, we should give you guys a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, just keep
to
going
make
off
it closer.
sides. Keep going off sides until we get
That
over.
happened with Janikowski back in the day.
I remember.
He lost the game against the Cardinals because he shanked like a 30-yarder at the end of the game. I was feeling a lot better that it was close rather than it being a 50-something yarder.
You want to make Brandon Aubrey all weirded out and nervous. That's what you do. We'll see what happens on Monday night. It's gonna be the nation will see it. The world will see it. So hey, this is one of your this is your Super Bowl basically this year.
I don't think people think about the Cowboys as much as you think we think about the Cowboys.
Oh, trust me, they do. It's funny. I've shown people.
My Super Bowl was in New Orleans. I went to go down there and smoke my victory cigar. First time we won in New Orleans in 29 years. You know what?
Congrats
that
on
was
that.
That was a sweet experience for me.
Well, you might not have seen the next time. So yeah, it's worth it. But the thing is that when it comes to the Cowboys, I've seen people that don't even know football, and they go, "Oh, I know the Cowboys. That's the only team I know." Like they don't even know football. They're like, "Oh yeah, I know the Dallas Cowboys. That's the one with the star." Yeah, trust me.
Yeah,
everyone knows Dallas. The world knows the Dallas Cowboys. Don't
one
fool
star.
yourself.
Yeah,
that's star over everything. Hey, thank you for being here with me, Dr. G, representing your team, and I do respect that as always. That everyone here on this channel is that we have the guy who sponsors this channel for this month. He's a Houston Texans fan. Other guys on here are from other teams.
You can tell them that I'll be going down to Houston in December to watch my Cardinals take care of business. They were supposed to
the Texans. Well, I heard you're going to be at this game too. So
I'll be in Dallas. Yep.
So get ready to see the big.
On my way down to Houston for a national convention, and on the way there, I'll stop in Dallas. Hopefully, claim victory. And then, like I say, in December, I'm making a trip to Tampa Bay and a trip to Houston for a couple more Cardinal.
A couple more road games for you, huh? Yeah. Well, hopefully, you get to smoke some of those cigars. You already beat us in the stadium we're in. So
I do. I don't.
No cigar to smoke there.
Cigar is already gone. It's been smoked.
It's been used.
Hey, 20 down, 12 more to go. That's not bad for a team as lousy as the Cardinals.
Hey, I'm hearing. We might even see you on TV. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
We'll see. I'll be down the end in the corner somewhere, about 10 rows off the field.
Yeah,
I'm traveling with a few guys from work who don't even know football. But what the hell? They'll be wearing something red, and we'll have a little contingent there in the stands. And I also hear this is one of the Cardinal traveling games. They have a couple games a year. The bird gang does a road trip, and they did the one in New Orleans, and now they're doing this one in Dallas. So these are the two games
before the Cowboy. Well, remember this though. Before I know New Orleans and Dallas, Dallas is kind of, I guess, nearish. But the point is that Cowboy fans travel and. When it comes to the Cardinal fans, before they went from St. Louis to Phoenix/Arizona, there was all Cowboy fans there. By the way, so go Cowboys. Always, there's gonna be more Cowboy fans there than Cardinal fans. You know that.
You mean?
I guess in Arizona, yes, but in Dallas, obviously, yes. I was talking about in Arizona, but not this week. It's going to be mainly Cowboy.
Well, I think hopefully in the fourth quarter, there'll be more Cardinals fans in the stadium, just like it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was Monday Night Football. That was a killer. We just lost Dak the week before. I remember that. That was it. I think Dak broke his ankle.
What was the score of that game? Was it 31-10? I think maybe you guys got a little ticky-tack touchdown at the very end.
I'm losing focus. I don't remember. All right, take care. I almost said your name. Take care, Dr. G. and good luck. May the best team win this weekend.
One more
which
thing.
was the Cowboys.
Go Cardinals.
No Cardinals. I agree with you. All right. Take care, Dr. G. Thank you for stopping in.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, bye. And go Cowboys, as always. Hey, guys. Thank you for stopping in here. The wife would say goodnight, but she, in the middle of the discussion, she got up extra early today. It is Friday, so we were busy. So I will not be doing an after dark show tonight. So and the next time you'll see me live on this channel will be on Monday night for some Monday Night Football right here with me and the wife, the lights, the camera, and the action right here. Watch my brother's team, Dr. G, take on the Arizona Cardinals. Fuck the Cardinals. So. And you won't see us sitting here like this in our VTuber forums. You'll see us actually live and direct because we'll have our jerseys on. The wife will have her Aubrey jersey on, and we'll be kicking off Week 9, Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football, guys. Yes. And thank you there, Scorpio in the house, and good insight from Dr. G. Thank you, Scorpio, for that comment. And yeah, I mean, I think he does bring in some great inside information that's like almost it's very again. He even told me because he's not really you don't know how much he can provide. I'm like, listen, it's okay, just do whatever you know, and damn, he knows a lot. So again, good stuff to know from that. We see this game coming up. We know their weaknesses. Their weaknesses are basically our weaknesses. No pass rush because they rush four only. They don't blitz. The coordinator don't blitz. Ours doesn't either. Now I think their secondary, no matter how bad it is, ours is worse because we're injured and they're confused because of our coordinator. But they have a horrible secondary as well, allowing one of the most passing yards, teams, defenses in the league. So on that side, great insight there on some of the weaknesses that they have, some of the things that I kind of brought up on our where we can really take advantage of, and it falls into the right pattern of what he said, and vice versa on the other side of the ball when we are on defense and they're on offense. I thought Kyler Murray was heading towards the direction of playing. It sounds like even with the extra day being on Monday, it sounds like it's not going to happen. It's going to be Jacoby Brissett, which could be worse for the Cowboys. I will say it's better in the sense that we don't have to worry about a dual threat quarterback, but Jacoby Brissett, like my brother said, Dr. G said, he stays patient in the pocket. He slices and dices, and we know what happens if you have a little bit of time, which our defensive line does not do good at putting pressure unless we blitz. You know what happens. You give any quarterback time. You give Russell Wilson time. He just hooks it up, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown against our defense. And again, we don't have our starters back there. We don't even have our backups back there. We have our fifth and sixth stringers back there at safety. We have two backups, really third and fourth stringers. I will say Elam and Reddy Stewart. I mean, these guys are maybe fifth and sixth stringers next to Deron Bland at corner. Our coverage game is bad right now. Kenneth Murray cannot cover McBride, so you have to have Lou Fowl, who's a little too young, maybe. You got Damone Clark. We're going to have an issue there with some of that coverage stuff. So we'll see if Kalen Carson, number 21, gets some play time there. He's back. We'll see, Cooper Beebe on offense. That's going to be a good sign. We'll see if Mingo gets some time on offense to try, kind of intermingle there with the receiving core of guys that we have there. We got, Flournoy and Jalen Brooks and others. So we'll see on offense how that goes. But I think offense, I feel good. I feel good about our offense. The run game might be difficult against the Cardinals, but I feel good about our overall offense and attacking the Cardinal defense. Defense, though, I see a lot of possibility for deep play breakdowns for the Cowboys in defensive coverage. While the Cardinals, even if they're not doing great, all they need is time and a solid quarterback. It seems like they got that. So hey, yeah, I see you there. What's up, Thomas Garrett in the house? My brother said 27-24 Cardinals win. I think the Cowboys will score more than 24 points, in my humble opinion. But and we scored 22 against the Broncos, good defense. So I think we could get. I mean, I know some of that was garbage time, but I think we can get over. I think we'll get over 30 against that Cardinal defense. So we'll see what happens, guys. But yeah, that really helped a lot. Scorpio said I was confident last time we played them, not that we were going to win. Didn't happen. Yeah, that we got. I remember saying that if we lose to the Cardinals, we should fire McCarthy. And that's we were like 4-1 at that point, I think, and we lost big to the Cardinals. And I was like, all right, I'm never going to overlook these Cardinals again. So again, that and not just that he's right. They lost 5 games, but they all lost them by 4 points, within 4 points or less. So they've lost some close games, even if their record is 2-5, and that means that we were only a game and a half better than them, barely. So hell yeah. Scorpio, Thomas Garrett, DM in the house, skeptical fan. Much love to you, brother. T Money, Anthony Robertson. Of course, the wifey here, MCW, my Cowboys wife in the house. We got Team Money, Seabass. Hell yeah. Not Everflow sucks, is what he says. Much love to Team Money. Of course, the great Calvin Richard dropping an entry. Again, the only entry for the raffle added. And there is another one right there. Just one little entry brought to you by Calvin Richard. So, hey, I guess we got to the end of the show. Anybody who drops $5 or more gets into the raffle. The last chance to get in for October and November. The board on top of me there gets set up, gets reset for the game. And the sponsor of the month, well, that stays the same. That's going to be John Luna. He's the sponsor of the month. We got Mr. Skeptical Fan. He's going to be the new Cash App King. We got Citizen Z. I forgot to mention. He's our leader in the gifting membership side. Well, he outdid Jet Li, who had 3. Well, Citizen Z's got 5, and he is the winner on that side. So he'll be taking that spot. John Luna, though, ripping it up with Jalen Brooks, 83 points on the stream, boss. There you go. John Luna is not just returning as our top sponsor. Returning again as our top sponsor next time we go live on Monday night for some Monday Night Football right here. My Cowboys family. Now, on that note, guys, appreciate you all for listening in, hanging in there for our late night Fan Friday stream. A good, juicy 2-hour plus episode of our channel here. And again, can't do this without your guys' love and support, your memberships, your donations, and all that good stuff. So again, thank you guys. Extra special thanks to this guy right here, Dr. G. Even though he's the anti of our team this week. He gave some great insight on both sides of the ball, especially defense. We can really get some points on this team. And hey, if we fall for the same trap as last time, we're going to get beat by 31 to 10 again. So can't do that this time. We gotta be ready for the Cardinals in Dallas, in front of the nation, in front of the world, on Monday Night Football. So guys, we'll see you then. Thank you all for doing your thing here with me. Hit that like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And as always, remember why we do this each and every night here on My Cowboys Family. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star for everything, guys. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. This season and every season, we rep that star for everything. And on this channel right here, My Cowboys Family, for finishing our 9th season of doing these game day reactions. 8.5 years of being on YouTube with you guys doing this thing, almost on the nightly throughout our entire history. If you look at it, guys, thank you for doing this with us. But don't forget, here on My Cowboys Family, the number one thing here, now, and forever, as always, Cowboys. One day, let's get that 6 and beyond. One day, right? Scorpio, Thomas, and the rest of the crew. Thank you all for rocking with us here. We will see you here on Monday night from some Monday Night Football, the Cardinals at the Cowboys. And thank you guys for dropping the knowledge in the chat, dropping the love from above, Calvin Richard and Skeptical Fan. Thank you guys. And before we can officially drop out and clock out for the night, relock and reload for game night on Monday Night Football against the Cardinals. Never forget the number one thing. Before we can drop the beat for the night here, before we can drop out of here for the night. Ooh, I kind of gave it up there. Before we can drop out for the night, as the wife always says, what we got to do before we drop out of here? We got to drop the beat. Oh, yeah. Beat's been dropped. Let's say Rizzy Rap. Guys, thank you. You can be anywhere. You're here chilling with us. Late night. As we always do the extra late night stuff here. The West Coast styled streams. Right now it's what, like 11 over there? It's early over there. Here it's like 2. So, guys, thank you all again. Be anywhere you're here. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell. You know where to follow us, all social media, X, Twitter, whatever, at My Cowboys Family. And hey, we'll see you here for game night in 3 days, 2.5 days away, guys. Stay strong. Being a Cowboy fan is not an easy thing. It's not for the faint of heart. Tough ass 29 years going on to 30. But until then, we're going on to week 9 right now. And the Cardinals in this preview. We did a little Denver Bronco recap. It was ugly. It made me want to cry. We got a clown owning this team. But we still got Dak having a great year. We got the receivers, number 3, number 88 back there. They can do some damage. I don't see trading Pickens or Aubrey. We get Nacho Libre back. Cooper Beebe. That's some great news right there. And no Kyler Murray possibly, but Jacoby Brissett, he might not be tiny, but he definitely is, is patient. And that could be the biggest killer to our defense. And you see a question mark there next to Overshown. Not right now. Overshown, maybe over the bye week. after this game, a bye week, and then maybe he comes back as the Raiders. We'll see. We talked about that and so much more, along with the special guest, Dr. G. Thank you, my brother. My actual real brother, not just saying it, who represented his Cardinals here and broke it down on his side and his perspective of things on this upcoming game against our Cowboys. We'll see you back here on MCF for that Cardinal-Cowboy game, Monday Night Football. Right here in MCF, My Cowboys Family, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here on this channel. You know it's you guys. Much love to you all. Thank you for being here, giving your input. Can't do this without you all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button for the channel. Hit that notification bell so you know we're going live or video short drops or whatever happens. You can keep in tune with that. If you're watching here on a replay, comment down below. I always hit the like or love or respond sometimes. If I have the time, I try to hit every comment up. Thank you all. Appreciate you all. We'll see you back here on Monday Night Football. Stay safe. Peace out. And never, ever forget, it's Cowboys.
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.